Hello, stream.
Hi, Gearbox. How are you? You having a holly jolly gaming as entity is on fire? How's everyone?
As a holly jolly entity on fire. Yes.
Is everybody
Massive.
enjoying the implosion of our chosen hobby?
I mean, only if you go online, which is part of the problem, right? In the end of the day.
No. I mean, you go and do an alpha test, and it's full of stolen shit. And you go to Fortnite, and you get cussed out by the simulated voice of a beloved actor, and
but
Doom doesn't have enough hours for you.
Well, but also,
at least WoW has housing.
Wasn't the issue with people sucking in all our favorite multiplayer games that nobody was watching guides and the average person doesn't absorb any news media on gaming at all? Like, I feel like we're torturing ourselves. we're desperately in the know about something that most people don't even know about. So what's the point? We're just doing this to ourselves at the end of the day.
Well, that is to not meme about it. That is something that I think it would be important for us all to keep in the back of our minds. That we are a vocal minority within an already niche hobby. The average person,
average bear,
doesn't give a crap about the things that we're worried about. But hey, you can scale a window in WoW housing. All's right with the world.
Hell yeah.
It's totally fine. It's totally fine. Happy Monday, everybody. I had a lovely weekend, and then I came home to what seemed like extremely unimportant, but need to be informed on distractions.
Wonderful. I played Shredder's Revenge with a 5-year-old. We played with our Swapticons a lot this weekend, which is like a
Swapticon?
Swapticons are they're all the rage right now. Modular toys, where like you have Spider-Man's body, but you can put Iron Man's hand on him, or you can, and then you can take your leg off another action figure and put that on the Spider-Man. And so you kind of make your own action figure out of the pieces available to you. So the Transformers has tried to get in on this and is trying to make their own modular toys.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I heard a con and I assumed it was a Transformers thing, so I was very surprised to hear it had nothing to do with
well, I was just explaining
Transformers.
I was explaining the toy trend right now.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. That's cool. That's sick. I like toy trends.
Yeah.
I have no children. This is a surprise, I know, to everybody listening, but
it is known.
I beeline it to the toy aisle every time I am in Target. Every time I'm in Target, Kyle.
Well, Jurassic Park's on full clearance right now, so you know what's going bad over there at Universal. Did that movie come out, by the way?
No, a new trailer is releasing, I think, today, as a matter of fact.
Okay. Oh, damn. Yeah, the kids don't care about the Jurassic Park.
Well, all the toys that are out right now are throwbacks, is my understanding. So they're probably getting it out of the way for the new stuff, if I were to hazard a guess. Because I was actually looking at the Jurassic Park toys just the other day. I was in their birthday shopping, and I don't know how many ones that got away you still think about when it comes to toys you desperately wanted from your childhood.
Yeah.
But, Jurassic Park, probably the single largest purveyor of toys I horribly wanted, which isn't to say that my parents didn't spoil me rotten, which I had a lot of rad-ass Jurassic Park toys. However, Never got that black and red Carnotaurus. And I thought that thing was cool
that
as
thing
shit.
that thing is cool as shit.
So
That's
imagine my new old hyperfixation firing off when on an end cap at Target, I saw a ton of the exact same black and red Carnotaurus.
Yeah, they were doing that one a little bit ago.
Yeah. I think it's kind of cool. I think it's also horribly targeting our nostalgia, trying to get us, those of us with children, to buy toys for our children, but really for us.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Really, really for us. The other one I was super jealous about, by the way, was the full size T-Rex toy that could actually eat the Jurassic Park action figures.
Oh, I never saw that one. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, it was a darker brown. I had the smaller one that, if you put them side by side, I actually think is more on model. It's a more accurate representation of what the T-Rex in the movie looks like. And it had dino damage, but there was a bigger one that could just swallow freaking action figures whole. And my neighbor had that, and I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, that is cool.
Man, I thought that thing was awesome. I never got it. Never got that one. But then, it's all right. You eventually find a new hyperfix. Well, I'm trying to think, what the hell was after Jurassic Park for me? I don't know. Is that the last hurrah? Was that the
before video games? That lined up decently well. Because something had survived and all that was Lost World.
Yeah, I was really into Lost World toys too, and I had quite a few. I really remember
there was Star Wars re-release. Oh, and Phantom Menace. When was that? That was after Lost World?
I was
right?
done with toys by the time Phantom Menace came out. I bought them and I kept them in the packaging.
Oh, like you collected them
because they made so many of them. They're worth absolutely nothing.
Oh,
they're still
interesting.
sitting.
Yeah,
they're still sitting in my old bedroom. If we go to visit my parents. They're there, in the clamshell. I think maybe they're worth double what they cost at the time, not adjusted for inflation, which was like $4.99. So they might be worth like $10.
That's fair.
So yeah. When are we doing a room review? That'd be fun. We should do that.
That would be fun. We should.
Homunculus brings up something I would like to do.
I'm all for room reviews.
We're gonna need to lay ground rules that that you only submit if you're okay with getting, somewhat roasted, and that the roasting is in good fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's the goal. That's the goal.
I will do my best too to find old photos of my bedroom, so we can also roast me. That's the kind of thing. Like if I'm gonna roast someone, I also want to make sure that I'm putting myself out to be roasted. Just like this past weekend. Oh, getting topical about my life. When I went to a music festival at Daytona International Speedway. Which for, I'm assuming everyone listening will need explained, is where the Daytona 500, the famous NASCAR race, happens. It is like the house of NASCAR. I've been to many a circle track in my day, Kyle, an oval, if you will.
Yeah, go round and
oval
round.
Racing,
mostly left, all that good stuff.
But all like smaller local tracks. I've spent a lot of time at Orlando Speed World because that's where they do. When Formula Drift comes to Florida, that's where they go. And I've spent a lot of time at DeSoto, previously known as DeSoto, now known as the Freedom Factory, because it was purchased by wildly successful YouTuber Cletus McFarlane, who lives in my city of Bradenton. He bought and saved a local oval track that was in disrepair, and for a while it was seeming like it was going to get bought and turned into a suburb. However, I went to Daytona for a big old pop punk and emo show. There's a hilariously normie named festival that happens every year at Daytona International Speedway, 4 days long, called Welcome to Rockville.
Wow. Is that what you went to?
I feel like is a name my mom would come up with.
Yeah.
If you asked her to name a rock festival.
I'm not shocked you didn't tell us what the name of the thing was you were going to. That sounds
so
lame.
Unmemorable. It's such a terrible name for a festival.
That's awful.
Absolutely god awful. And it was mostly like butt rock. Like it was like 3 of the 4 days was butt rock. And then Friday Green Day was closing. Good Charlotte was playing, and they haven't played Florida in over a decade. Newfound Glory was on the ticket. Sublime was on the ticket. It's like everything I love.
Sweet.
Like every band I give a shit about was playing. So Kate and I were excited, and then like, I don't know, middle of the year last year is when tickets went up, and Kate and I were like, yeah, sure, let's go. Sounds good. And then, you know, you forget about it because you have to buy tickets so damn early, and then it comes back around, and we went. And 1 minute, dude. We got in. We went in a little late. So it was around, I think it was getting closer to 2. We walk over to one of the 2 main stages, and Lit, the band Lit, is performing, who I've never seen, and they've been on my I'd like to see you list for quite some time. They did probably a song you would know. You're not, you know, my most musically savvy friend, at least in the genres that I enjoy. But you probably heard their song "My Own Worst Enemy," where I don't know what would you remember from this?
It sounds like a line.
The chorus is like, "It's no surprise to me, I am my own worst enemy. Because every now and then I kick the living shit out of me." That's that.
Okay.
Yeah, they were, you know, really big in the late 90s. Put on a great show, by the way. But that's not the reason I'm telling you this. They were the first band we saw. They were like a third of the way through their first song. We just walked in. This dude in front of us just drops, just complete loss of control of his body, falls over, starts convulsing a little bit.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And immediately, and I never knew this. I haven't been to a lot of really, really big festivals. Growing up, I went to Warped Tour every year, and I never really saw, and like no one had an issue. I never saw people get heat stroke. I never saw people having a bad trip from illicit substances, anything like that. It was an absolute scorcher. It was, I think, 10 degrees hotter than originally forecast. It was like 92 and felt even hotter because we're in Daytona. Part of it is paved, and the pavement was just radiating the heat back up at everybody. And yeah, I'm assuming this guy was out there probably like from high noon on. You know, we walked in closer to 2 o'clock, and yeah, he just dropped in. I learned that everybody in the crowd, they do an X with their arms toward the medical tent.
Oh,
and like within a minute, 2 paramedics were on this guy.
Well,
you know, checking him out.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, they were, you know, he, you know, I think it seemed like, I didn't talk to them because they were busy, but it seemed like they very quickly assessed the situation and realized kind of like letting him kind of sort himself out was the best starting point. So they used someone's like hoodie that they weren't wearing because it was 92 goddamn degrees out to shade him. And you know, one of them stayed down and was talking to him, and eventually shoulder and shoulder, he with some help walked himself over to the medical tent. And that was, man, what a way to start a day where I'm just supposed to be like partying and having a good time. It was just like, damn, it's really hot, y'all. So take care of yourself, everybody. Take care of yourself out there. Hydrate, stay in the shade. I've never felt older because when Warped Tour used to come through, Kyle, it was always summer. It was summer in Florida. And I would go out there. I'd be there from gate opening, which I think back in the day was like 10 a.m. They would have us opening up circle pits at 10 in the freaking morning on like a Thursday. You know, that's just how it was. I mean, and I would be there all day.
Yeah.
And it was fine. I never went and like hung out in the shade. I just made sure to bring some sunscreen, and I was fine.
But, you know, endurance and all that too.
At this, dude, I spent like 3 hours just sitting in the shade. Nowhere even in eyesight of a stage, because at a certain point I was just like, Good Charlotte and Green Day are playing back to back and closing this thing out, and the concert's going to end at midnight. And I was just like, I know that if I just stay outside in the sun all day, I'm not going to make it to the bands I really want to see. So, and there was no re-entry, which is really stupid.
Oh, that is dumb.
Yeah. Eventually, and this is how you know it was hot, they cut the price of water from $4.50 to $2. And they were announcing it everywhere.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
And halfway through the day, they're like, all right, y'all, we don't give a shit. You re-entry's allowed.
Oh my God.
If you need to go to your car, if you need to go back to your hotel.
Wow.
beat the heat however you can, because we only have 2 free water stations, because it was supposed to be in the 80s today, not in the 90s. And
yeah, that reminds me of the hurricane when my apartment complex was like, you could pay $100. We'll put up your boards. If you want us to come by and board your windows, $100 to the handyman. That's going to, and then like 6 hours later, yeah, we're coming by. No one needs to pay. We're getting these boards up right now. Everybody get outside. Get your boards out. I see. To change your tone a little bit there.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like you kind of want to give them shit, but also you're like, at least you owned up to it, and you did what was, it took some pushing and shoving, but you eventually did what was right. And I give hat tip to the the organizers for this. I think they did the best they could with the situation at hand, because we got emails the next day, because we went for the Friday show, and there was still a Saturday show and a Sunday show with different lineups. And we got an email. They're like, hey, if you were here yesterday and you're coming today, we just want to let you know we have like 3 times the water stations, and we brought in 4 air-conditioned tents. And like they did as much as they possibly could. The day we were there, toward like later in the day, buses showed up. They literally just brought in charter buses and kept the ACs running. And you could just go sit on the parked charter bus. And I'm like, I don't know. I find event production really fascinating. So, even though I was ready to take a nap from the heat,
it's also perspective, right? Like a lot of times we don't update our perspective. That's music for teens. I saw this clip of some K-pop artists over the weekend, and they were like, "All right, let's hear it for the high schoolers." Dead audience. Middle schoolers? Dead audience. College students, dead audience. Working adults, yeah. And she was like, "Oh, thank you for your service."
Oh man, that's amazing. That's freaking rad. Are you going through like a K-pop phase right now, or
no? My phone is super confused by me because I have children, so it's trying to figure out what I like.
I mean, I'm your friend, and I'm confused by you, so like it's all good, man.
YouTube did that thing that Netflix tries to do, and it was like, "Hey, select. We got 20 clips for you. Select which ones you want to watch." And I went through like 5 pages not wanting anything. I don't know what I want to watch, man. I'm a mess. I want to watch the end of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds is what I want to see. That thing's popping off, man. The Nazca lines are invading reality. The energy is everywhere. Man, that's amazing.
I came home to some good YouTube stuff. Car YouTube is good right now. I feel like I haven't talked to you about this because you're not into car culture, but I think like the last year of car YouTube has been pretty shit. And I don't know, suddenly it's good again. I don't know, I saw I came home from my travels, and I had all these videos to catch up on, and it was wonderful. And even one of them was the guy that owns our local oval track. I need to send it to you, because he's doing a video every day for the entire month.
Oh, neat. Yeah.
And the one he put up last night was just like a family update, and it was just him and his wife talking about, running the channel and being parents. And I was like, I think Kyle would enjoy this.
Yeah, we went down a rabbit hole of Outdoor Boys over the weekend.
Oh yeah, because I've never heard of them.
I've never heard of them either, but 18 million subscribers. So
they walked away from their channel, right? For their family?
For the kids, because the kids are on YouTube and they've had enough success, and they just want to be normal people. And so
yeah, man, it's nuts. It's kind of empowering, because like I want to talk to everybody about like kind of how nuts things has been in the Weinzierl family. There's some like not great stuff going on with my folks. And I'm just trying to get to a point where I'm comfortable talking about it.
Sure.
Because they're very private people. But they have an idiot son who decided to live very publicly. Yeah, I don't know. I'm worried about him, and I want to let folks in. I just haven't figured out how I want to talk about it yet. So I know it's like I feel like I keep wanting to use the word teasing. I keep teasing. It's like this is not
yes, big
this
tease.
is not content.
Oh man,
this is real life, and it's pretty scary, y'all. But I saw my parents yesterday, and they're in much better spirits.
Awesome, good to hear.
So
man.
I'm feeling pretty good coming out of yesterday. But it was a busy weekend. It was a really fun weekend. you know, original bonding with Katie was music. So man, like when we go to a good show, man, it's, you know, I don't know, big sap. I love my wife more every day, but man, sometimes when we just go to a good show, it's just like fall in love all over again. Like I'm like, oh man, I needed it. It's been a hard couple months. That Friday was a good time.
Awesome, man. I'm happy. I mean, obviously I got up to nothing updates, continue to tease you all. This is actual teasing about what's happening in June. I made several errors, of course, continued errors. This doesn't transfer data, it only powers things. So F me, right? Oops. So I need
what is that?
It's a USB-C, but there's different grades of USB-Cs. I didn't know this.
There is?
Yeah, they have different data rates, and some of them only power things, and some of them only are powerful enough for phones, and some of them just, and so like, and so
okay, I knew there's different data rates. I didn't know there was USB-C that was literally just for charging.
And then there's hard drives that have different write speeds, and so now I finally have a hard drive with this thing's amazing. This thing has an amazing write speed, but I had to get in a thing with an amazing write speed. So that's my life right now is chords, and chaos.
Damn, dude. Well, I'm excited. I mean, you've sent me. Patrons got a little
video update over the weekend.
A little sneak peek of what you've been doing. We do a wrap up post every Friday, and this past Friday's wrap up post had a behind the scenes video from one Kyle Ferguson getting his vlog on.
My vlog on.
Yeah, you feel like a vlogger. You're ready to
you're ready to
go. You're ready to go do. You're gonna become a Disney reviewer.
No, but I was really impressed with these because it's what I wore for the whole blog. So it's a Smart Lab by Rode. However, I then learned the difference between TRS, TRSS, and TR. So I had to learn about that then.
What is any of that?
That is the end of chords, and they matter. So there's meanings to these things.
What is the end of the chord of if it's smart? The Smart Lab's for a phone, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So here, I'll show you, because I didn't know these things had meanings. So this thing, right? Yeah, there we go.
Okay, a 3.5 millimeter.
Yeah, but see how it has 3 lines on it? That means that it's a TRSS and can be
has a microphone channel.
Yes, and it can be put into a phone slot that has only one hole, because phones only have one hole. And with the 3 lines, it means it'll communicate with the phone and say, hey, I'm a microphone, not a set of headphones. And that's important.
Yes, until you get an iPhone and you realize they haven't had that hole for a decade.
Yes, but I don't have an iPhone, and I'm not using these for iPhones. I'm using them for laughs.
Gotcha. Yeah, I never knew there was a name for that. I always just counted the rings. 1 is mono, 2 is stereo, 3 means there's also a microphone on the ZMFer.
Yes, but it also it's made to communicate. So I had to learn about that recently. I had to learn about I'm just in chord hell at the moment, but it's going very well.
Okay, nice. So you enjoy. I look forward to learning. I look forward to standing on your shoulders.
Yeah, please do. There's no need for you to know this stuff, just as long as it works.
Well, we got a lot to talk about today.
Let's do it.
We've got a major gaming studios stealing art again. Apparently, we've got WoW housing previews going out to WoW and FF14 creators that aren't us.
Jealous much? Something you want to share with everybody?
I'm just
no, man, we're not flexing.
Normally I don't get jealous, but seeing as I covered Blizzard games for more than 10 fucking years, a little bit, I was like, really? No one gave me even like a little heads up that maybe I should go to PAX. Like, okay, cool. Thanks, guys.
They didn't even have the balls to say Final Fantasy 14. Like, come on. Like,
well, they didn't have the balls to let anyone even show footage. So,
well, yeah, you got 3 screenshots that you got to export on that. We'll talk about that later. But
thanks for those 3 Thanks for those 3
big
Y'all.
screenshots.
Really, you know what? I had Damn it. Oh,
Oh.
I have the same complaints about what just happened with the WoW housing preview as I had about Media Tour, which is funny because I was comparing Media Tour to Blizzard media events, which I think are my gut reaction after going to Media Tour was, wow, the way Blizzard does things is infinitely better for content creators and the audience watching content creators because you actually, get a lot to show. And now I'm just like, oh, okay, never mind. You're like you were even more locked down than Media Tour, but we'll talk about that in a moment.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Let's start with a weirdly refreshing and old school art theft controversy. Because
for the people watching at home, let me get this on screen. There you go. Hey, there it is. Bungie at it again, apparently.
Yes, I wasn't aware of the first 3 times that this happened, but we're past hat trick. We're into a full-on quartet of oops, so sorry, not our fault, art theft.
I'm so excited to hear your opinion about this, but let's give everybody the rundown in case for some reason this didn't reach your eyes.
Yeah, I'm assuming if you listen to our show, you probably already know about this. However, to try and catch you up, the TLDR is that Bungie, the creators of previously games like Halo, currently games like Destiny, and probably no longer in the future Marathon, were accused by the artist known as Anti-Real of stealing her artwork and using it as assets in their probably no longer upcoming extraction shooter Marathon.
Wait, why do you say that? Wait.
Well, I'll get there. Let me finish the TLDR. Let me finish.
Sorry, I'm in the know about some of this, so I wanted to know the ending.
Yeah. And since all of this, Bungie has since admitted that her art was in fact stolen by a quote former Bungie artist. And the internet is all in a rage about this.
That's putting it lightly.
And is it? I mean, we're in a rage about everything all the time. So I find it difficult to actually measure the severity of rage because there are creators that I would file fully under the umbrella of rage bait creators. So because they're just like crying wolf so much, it's really, I find it very difficult to get my finger on the pulse of when something is like legitimately outrageous and important to them.
That was honestly the hardest thing about this entire scenario because there were titles of severity I haven't ever seen in my life when it comes to video game coverage. I was immediately repulsed and didn't want to know anything about this because the word usage that was used in the, and I've been around. I'm not unknown to the clickbait titles, but this was hyperbole. This was absolutely insane.
Yeah. It's weird, like, because I was away. I had the time away with Katie, and then I also had to spend some time with my family this weekend because they're going through some stuff. And so I came back to it after the initial surge of like raw reaction. And so I read some articles and then some videos ended up on my feed, and I found the coverage by some more popular streamer / YouTuber types, like just like so it felt like it was a playbook of like maximizing anger at the coverage of the story. Whereas I honestly, I find this, it sucks and it's shitty and it's embarrassing for a studio of Bungie's pedigree and size. But also I find it quaint compared to, like, I don't know. It's really hard for me not to immediately go into what a bunch of hypocrites mode. You over the years have talked about how one of the things you find the most difficult about being a content creator on the internet and being one that tries to stay informed about what the greater community of any one game or any one studio is talking about, is not assuming every comment you read is the same person. It's very difficult.
Hard to do.
Yeah. And particularly, with the games that we cover, which tend to be MMO adjacent, or is in a bigger umbrella, games as a service. There is an ebb and flow. There are feast and famine. There are times where the stock and I mean by stock I mean like emotional stock, the joyous stock of the players is way up, and there are times where it's way low. And during those times, like if you go on like a subreddit for like World of Warcraft or maybe Final Fantasy 14 subreddits, actually they do a pretty damn good job of keeping it positive over there. It's a very memey. It's a lot of art getting shared.
I find cosplay. It's very my personal adventure.
Yeah. But there's still, it still happens. So you've always said that it was like back in the Heroes of the Storm days when we were covering that very, very closely. It was hard to read the Heroes subreddit and not from one month to the next, not assume that like the comments that were like praising and saying it was great, and then the next month comments saying it was the worst thing ever and it's doomed to fail. It was really hard not to read that as the same people. And that's the reaction I was having with this. I'm like, yeah, this is like obviously sucks. Like to me, that was like the most like basic reaction you could have. But the volume and the speed with which this just like took over like a wildfire and choked out all conversation of anything else I was seeing on the internet. I'm like, where were you people like a month ago when it seemed like you were all giblifying yourself with stolen art from generative AI?
It was it was very weird.
I did not see anything. I saw people complaining. I didn't see anything even close to the level of this. And I even saw some creators who are getting a shit ton of views, really stoking the fire of this Destiny shit, like praising generative AI like 2 months ago. And I just want to say, I think you're the biggest hypocrite on the planet Earth.
It was really weird from the outside because it felt like they rolled the dice and it landed on a nat 20 and they said, oh shit, get my serious words. And they ran over to their briefcase of their most serious words they own, threw it open and started using them. But
it's because these content creators that have only one way to bring in views is to stoke controversy and make their audience angry. They actually have something legitimately worth being angry about, as opposed to bending it to their just constant like shitstorm persona.
That's the like cry wolf of the situation, is like when you actually get into this, whether or not the art director followed them on Twitter, that to me feels irrelevant to what I'm about to say. There are so many elements of this where you can just line up the allegations and the reasons this is wrong back to back to back to back. Because what if I spilled my coffee and then someone was like, oh my God, he followed his wife on Twitter. How did he spill coffee? It's like people follow people all the time. That's inconclusive. What is insane?
Yeah, that seemed like the most insane thing to like latch on to me for me, because I was like, every artist follows like every artist. Like that's really common. We've been doing it since like the dawn of Twitter.
But what's insane is like this is like you made a Geiger inspired game and did not say it. Like, that's why this is a big deal. When you see the screenshots of what was stolen and what's in the game, you go, oh, but it kind of sucks that they took some of their symbols. Like I love warning signs in Alien. I love made up technobabble. And I was sad. I saw the images and I was like, oh, that's sad. They kind of stole some of they stole their language. They stole their style. Marathon is their art. And when you watch the trailer again, knowing what the artist made, it's like you made a Geiger game and didn't cite Geiger. It's insane.
100%. Yeah. Because it's something we do. Like inspiration, like being inspired by an artist or a director's or any type of visual artist.
You can't help it. Yeah, it's just gonna happen.
pretty accepted, and we tend to lead with that a lot. When J.J. Abrams was coming up, like he was just yelling Spielbergian all the time, and other people were drawing comparisons, and no one was mad about that because it was like understood, and he knew, he let it be known where his inspirations were coming from. We the word Lovecraftian exists for a reason. You know, all of that sort of stuff. And I mean, like one of my favorite things on TikTok is supercuts of every piece of media that references my favorite anime shots, like the Akira slide, for example.
Yeah, those are fun.
Anytime I see a supercut of that shit, it's getting my like, and I'm bookmarking it because hey, I might use that for reference for something someday, or a gag that we do on one of our videos. But you're absolutely correct. Like this was just like, it was absolutely egregious, but also like, is it that, you know, we talk about that, like tragedies that happen on a mass scale are harder to relate to than tragedies that befall one or a small group of people. Is it the same thing that, you know, yes, there is obviously pushback happening against all of the wanton art theft that's happening with generative AI, but to me this incident seems so much larger and so much louder. That like, I don't know, like part of, like my gut reaction was, oh my God, like the greater gaming audience of just such a bunch of hypocrites. And then I started thinking about, like, is it just because this is hyper specific? Like the victim of the theft is a singular artist with a name, and she has receipts, versus that literally sucks for everyone who's ever made anything visual that you've been fed into a machine.
Yeah, it's so easy to hate on, and it is so egregious. Like, it's one thing to have your script changed, or be like, they stole my script, that was my script for a movie. Oh no, we made changes. Like, this was maybe a horizontal flip in Photoshop. The artist's name, their symbol that they use to express themselves, is in the game, because they thought it was a random symbol that they could use for this technobabble language they've created for Marathon.
Yeah.
It's
by the way,
it's
hey, all the artists out there, you should probably sign your art with like a really cool abstract,
not a bad
like
idea,
piece of graphic design, because then it'll you know, be a little easier to catch it. Yeah.
And then you got the corporation side of it. It's just like, why couldn't you pay this person if you loved it so much? Were you afraid they were going to say no? Is your product so hollow that it hinges on this art style to hoodwink your audience into participating into it? Which was my next thought, which made me go, what the hell is an extraction shooter? And why are we suddenly making so many of these? What's going? Why is this a big deal?
Real quick before I, because we already had this conversation last week before this controversy even broke. So we were talking about extraction shooters and the canceled Titanfall game on stream, just kind of in casual conversation. And you were like, "Garrett, what's an extraction shooter?" But I thought we already mentioned this, but Chad seems to think we haven't hit the nail enough on the head. I thought I led with, like, yes, there was like 1-to-1 straight up lifted copy and pasted artwork, like beyond the shadow of a doubt. They just stole. We probably focused too much on the fact that also just kind of seems like Marathon as a whole was very much inspired by Anti-Real's art. But no, there's
straight up assets in there.
There's there's tons of designs decorating the world of Marathon, which was recently available to play as an alpha. That is just copy and pasted graphic designs from the artist known as Anti-Real. And Bungie did own up to it, but said it was, you know, a former
with the
Bungie
former
artist.
Employee thing. Yeah, it's a little.
Yeah, well, it does sound convenient, but it's also like it's very possible it's true. Like it could be that they're not here anymore. But you don't have any way of knowing, and it does come off as convenient.
But it's all like, just put effort into the plagiarism at least. Like, it is so
Yeah,
bare
well, that's where they
bones.
probably should have given more info, because I've been pouring over quotes, because I'm just like, any artist that works on any game probably turns in an absolute shit ton of work. So I would imagine, that it, to me, it's very realistic that this happened. Like, I'm not surprised, because usually so much stuff gets handed in. Like, at a certain point, you probably just be like, yeah, cool, looks good, ship it. And it for repeating assets, particularly in the term of, like, it's a lot of like graffiti and posters and signage that appears in the game are using these glyphs. Is also it like appears in the UI of like screens and shit that appear in the game.
I mean, the way you die
That's
is
stuff you're going to reuse.
Yeah, is their style. That's why I made the Geiger comparison. It is the game doesn't exist in its current form without this influence.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's the kind, I don't know. To me, it's very realistic that it slipped through the cracks. Just because, like, and I think that's why folks are seizing on the following of social media accounts and on all of that kind of stuff. But just like, even though, like, even just because you follow an artist doesn't mean you've like committed their work to memory so much to a point where you could just be like, that A/arrow design. I know you're not going to instantly recall where it came from, particularly if a bunch of work is being handed in all at once. But like, I don't know. Like, to me, like, this is the way it's gonna come out, and apparently I was unaware of this, but there's been like 3 previous controversies of art theft with Destiny. I looked into it somewhat. I didn't get too deep down that rabbit hole, but appears to have been for, at least some of it was for merchandise, which was being put together by third-party contractors, which, again, like, I can see how that happened. And this is just usually how that stuff gets found out, is when it becomes public. And it's such a mess, man. Like, what a really exhausting time to be a creative.
So what is an extraction shooter?
What's an extraction shooter?
Why is this the new battle royale / hero brawler? Why is this the big money, I gotta have one game right now?
The most famous one is probably Escape from Tarkov. Really good Twitch viewership on Escape from Tarkov.
Yes, but has burned out some seriously good streamers. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely, because it's horribly punishing, but that's also what makes it
high
extremely
stakes
watchable,
and interesting.
And yes, much like for us, hardcore World of Warcraft. It's the stakes are what, it's kind of the draw, if you will. But most of them are you are dropped into a large map to go and scavenge, and it's like PvEVP. Typically there are NPCs that you're fighting with, but also other players out and about in the world, and you're scavenging, trying to find better guns, better gear. And if another player finds you and kills you, in something like Tarkov, you lose everything on you, and they can take it. And so it's this very high stakes type situation. And I see it as a natural progression of something like a battle royale. The difference is, like, most battle royales, you don't really keep anything from one game to the next. You're just starting over, all like fresh. And I don't know, like anything, eventually folks kind of want something new or a stronger hit. Like, battle royales have been out a long time. They've been popular a long time. Fortnite is still very successful. PUBG is, last I checked, still a strong enough second place to Fortnite. And we've had, I think, some good additions and stuff like Apex Legends, and even what Call of Duty was doing. I really liked their battle royale. They're still doing it. I'm just a little battle royaled out personally. And with the success of Tarkov came a lot of copycats, including Call of Duty. Warzone DMZ is their version of an extraction shooter. You've listed a bunch here in our notes. You know, you informed me the Hunt Showdown is one.
Yeah, I like the Hunt Showdown. That's a cool game because you fight a boss and then you try to get out. Because once you beat the boss, this supernatural ghost or Lovecraftian beast, you then have a PvP team show up and try to take your stuff so they can go fight their boss, and it kind of cycles, and that's a really interesting concept. But
yeah, and actually, chat's reminding me right now. Where did it go? Someone mentioned The Division. Midnight Miko, thank you so much for reminding me about this.
Oh, The Division.
The Dark Zone. The Dark Zone in The Division, I would cite as what I know is the earliest instance of an extraction shooter.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because like the Dark Zone was an extraction shooter, like for all intents and purposes. I just don't think the term existed yet. And from what I understand, Division 2 still popular, still has a healthy player count. I didn't get super far into it because I'm a New York boy and I don't find DC all that interesting. I bounced off Division 2 real fast. I like New York.
It seemed like they purposefully, like someone walked in the room and was like, hang on, are you doing something supernatural in there? Like, no, sir. No, we would never have zombies or anything cool in this game. Good. Don't you dare. This is just a sickness after all. It'd be weird if we made anything cool for you to shoot. And then they left.
Well, you don't like shoot. You don't like fighting just people.
Yeah, they're just people.
I'm perfectly fine. I grew up with Rainbow Six, man. Like, and I played a shit ton of OG Half-Life mod Counter-Strike. Like, I am perfectly fine just human on human combat. Doesn't bother me none. So I loved the First Division. I didn't spend a bunch of time in the Dark Zone though, because I thought it was a bit punishing. And
it was also kind of hard to access, and you had like levels you had to get in order to get in there in the first place because it was tied to this RPG element.
Yes, yeah. It was essentially like a massive part of the end game of the Division.
It's just like the funny thing.
I'm not sure. Yeah, now chat's debating this, like all sorts of things. Like, is Left 4 Dead an extraction shooter? I would say hard no. You don't lose anything other than your time if you fail, and you don't bring anything with you.
Now you need the element of people to be really pissed off, and it feels like they're trying to create the most frustrating game they could possibly think of. Like, what would really piss someone off? I know. What if you lost your money? No! All your loot. Yeah, we did it. That'll get everybody nice and riled up.
I think we've proved time and time again that there are a lot of players out there looking for that level of friction and that level of stakes. My favorite World of Warcraft is classic hardcore. If they put out BC, that would be my new favorite World of Warcraft if they had BC hardcore. And if they put out Wrath hardcore, that'd be my new favorite World of Warcraft. It probably would stop there. I don't need to go to Cataclysm.
So I found a list here. Choose equipment and gear. Step 1. Select a raid and load into it. Loot as much as you can while battling PvE and PvP elements. Extract from the raid alive. Sell your winnings and buy more powerful gear. So kind of the overline of this that maybe something like a Hunt Showdown didn't have is that you are progressing. And that's why a studio like Bungie might be good at making something like this, because they've made an RPG.
Potentially. They also, like, in my opinion, they also make some of the best, if not the best, and most satisfying shooting in any shooter. I would probably give that to Bungie. It's why I dump on Borderlands so much. I think the shooting feels really unsatisfying in Borderlands. Whereas something, and it's not just like because I don't like bullet sponges, because I go play Destiny, it's full of bullet sponges, but the shooting feels incredible. The guns feel so fun and impactful to wield. So while there is, I think, a lot of extraction, like new extraction shooter burnout going on, I was cautiously optimistic for Marathon. Before this controversy even dropped, though, the overall reception from the alpha was from that was kind of the storyline coming out of it. And the chips were just, I think it's just kind of been stacked against Marathon from the get-go. Like, again, like, just for the sake of this conversation, let's divorce it from this controversy for just a second. Concord is hanging over Marathon like a pox. You know, Bungie is in bed with Sony. Sony was the big driving force for Concord getting made. They've just been pushing the studios under their control to make and chase trendy games as services. And Concord has got to be the most monumentally infamous non-starter of a game release in the last decade. And so Destiny or Bungie already being on the back foot with quite a few updates and expansions to Destiny 2 not being particularly well received, being under the Sony umbrella, living in this post-Concord world, everyone was already looking at Marathon like there's a lot of pressure on this. It feels more like a cynical push from a corporate overlord than it does a passion project from a studio reviving one of their oldest and most beloved IPs. That would be how I would frame this entire thing for you. And so chips are already stacked against it. Alpha comes out before any other controversy. The main controversy was it's just kind of okay. Like the number one compliment I kept seeing was that the shooting was really good. I didn't play it myself. I can't speak to it. But I saw that feedback and I went, yeah, no shit, it's Bungie. Like, I'm sorry, Bungie. I already know you make really good shooting, and I'm sorry that that's not good.
That's fair. No, yeah. There's a reason why
it's like no shit. A Porsche drives real nice. We already know that. Like, why else should I care? And then this hits. Like, I don't think Marathon survives this, man. I don't see.
It was its most interesting asset. And to have that like even questioned is a death sentence to it. And in particular, the noise, the do 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 do, and every freaking video game trailer has that do moment to it. And usually, if it's an RPG, some monster curls its stupid fists, puts out its mouth, and goes roar. And sometimes the spit looks nice, and you're like, thank you. Their moment in this trailer was someone used a health kit in a vent. And I'm supposed to be like, wow, holy shit, I gotta play it. That looks fun. I can heal inside of a vent? Are you serious? That's dynamic.
Yeah, it's just, I don't, it's such a,
but it did look cool.
I'm just bummed, man, because I like Bungie. I want them to succeed. And like that would be my message. Like as an admittedly passive player of Destiny, like I haven't touched Destiny 2 in more than 2 years. But I really liked my time with it. Like I left Destiny feeling really good about it and just wishing more of my friends played, because it is a multiplayer game, and at its best, it is at its best, in my opinion, when it is a social experience. And even though I hand delivered a free copy to a certain friend of mine, I just didn't have anyone. I didn't have anyone to play with. Our mutual buddy Patrick was like the only guy regularly playing it, and he was in France at the time, and the time difference was a little tough to rectify. So no, I eventually did what I could solo in Destiny 2, and I moved on. I had a really good time, and I felt like it was money well spent.
I couldn't do it for the Hunt Showdown. I really wanted to play that game. It looks so cool. I straight up, when it came to Vermintide and Darktide, held my friends hostage. And I just need to play this once. I have to kill some rats so badly that I need to burden my family and make these other families of my friends burdened as well, so we can play this for just 3 hours, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. It's weird. It's weird for me, man, because I'm a tapped in Blizzard fan. I'm a tapped in Final Fantasy 14 fan. I am a not tapped in Bungie fan, and I imagine there's a lot of people like me. that it's like I hear that name and my immediate response is positive. Like I go like, damn, like you're responsible for some of my favorite games of all time. You are responsible for some of my fondest gaming memories, like going over to my buddies and staying up all night on Halo 2 release day to beat the campaign for the first time on Legendary with a case of Red Bull. Like, oh, it was a good time. And so, like, to me, I look at their recent strings of shortcomings, and it just makes me sad. And if I wasn't already so angry about the larger general state of what I see as an attack on creatives, I'd probably be mad about this. But it hits me just like another punch to the gut of a studio that I want to do better, that I want them to have a hit. I want them to succeed. And saying that they stepped on another rake doesn't even come close to accurately representing what a monumental fuck up this is. It's just exhausting. And I would prefer, I would really appreciate it if I saw more of this outrage when the next Mimi generative AI filter drops. You know, when we find the next famous anime artist to rip off, you know, I want to see this fire in the belly of more people.
More on that later, apparently. Next up, WoW housing.
I know no more on that. I don't want to talk about this more today.
Wait, no, not Marathon. We got Darth Vader cursing. You want to talk about that right now? So you just want to get it over with?
Oh, yeah. Let's just rip that Band-Aid off for a second because of LOL. You deserve this.
LOL, Darth Vader is dropping the swears in Fortnite, including saying such things as skibbity toilet, the F word, and just in general being an easy to trick nuisance. So they've now patched out the ability to make Darth Vader say the F word, by the way. That has been fixed.
Why didn't you set parameters in the first place?
You know, maybe the best intentions, right? Like so if you're not familiar with what's going on, James Earl Jones.
There's a massive Star Wars event going on in Fortnite. Yet again, I think they just do one annually now at this point, because Disney has a massive stake in Fortnite. And sorry, you were going to inform us about James Earl Jones, who opted into this.
Yes, who is 90 years old and decided for the longevity of his family to sell the rights to his voice as he retires to AI at Disney, so they could use Darth Vader's voice into the future.
Yes. Did you? By the way, that news is old.
Yes, that
was news middle of last year, early last year.
It's been a bit since that happened.
Yeah, did you think that was as sad as I thought it was?
It's honestly, I'm extremely mixed on it because I get one per show as a dad. The idea of behind closed doors, I do not tell Kyle to stop talking about being a dad. If anything, I encourage it because you're doing it right, man. Like you're doing it right. It's just anyway. So the idea of
you're a good dad.
Protecting my family, providing for them into the future, into the infinite is a seductive quality. If I am retiring, I'm on my way out, I'm aware of my mortality, I'm selling my voice. By the way, I don't know his actual opinions, James Earl Jones. However, he's had a very long and fruitful life through some intense time periods in American history. So this was probably not an uninformed decision, and he wanted to provide for his family by selling his voice. This does rob all future impersonators and opportunities for other people to play that voice, which is extremely sad. And you go, I honestly can't decide how I feel because both are true. I feel sadder about the greater overall IP sphere. I feel like we are entering like a feudalistic IP empire where I go to market to sell my corn and people ask, is that Marvel themed corn? And I'm like, what the crap what? Who cares if Marvel's on my corn? Well, we only buy Marvel corn here. Like, I want to return to the past where like DC and Marvel never even like locked eyes with each other. Like, they were never seen in the same IP. Like, Hot Wheels had Marvel and Monster Jam had DC, and nobody ever crossed over. And they hated each other as far as we knew.
He loves me so hard at Marvel corn.
But I feel, but it feels like we're entering this feudalistic era of like the Manor Lord up on the hill, and he is the IP. And we are like, please, sir, I'd like to create a intense Lovecraftian world. No, you don't own the rights to that. They take my corn, and I can't sell my Lovecraftian corn anymore.
What does this have to do with James Earl Jones selling his voice rights to the Disney AI machine?
Well, a lot of it is I'm just mad that there is one of the best held up lore projects ever to exist for Transformers called War for Cybertron, and you cannot play it because Hasbro and Activision don't get along anymore.
What does this have to do with
James Earl Jones? Cannot return to a world where I get to purchase and play the War for Cybertron, which is an essential piece of lore for the Transformers Prime universe, which was an incredible cartoon series.
I am ready to explode with how this relates to anything we're talking about.
I'm saying that it's extremely nuanced and complicated. And I'm giving many, many examples at once, Garrett. What would you like to know? Ask your questions. I'm done.
I no longer have any questions.
Oh, good. Then I answered everything. We're perfect.
No, you didn't, but I'm just letting the tsunami that is Kyle Ferguson's brain wash over me because I am no longer in control. I think it might be KMCA asking, is it bad that I follow Kyle's logic? Anyway. I don't even know.
Anyway, so I have described the why James Earl Jones's actual voice is talking in a licensed Disney property inside of Fortnite. However,
yes, it's about as on the up and up as it possibly could be. I am of the opinion that Disney shouldn't. They should not want to buy the rights for that usage because I feel it's in bad taste. Obviously James Earl Jones is free to do whatever the hell he wants, but I wish I lived in a world where Disney was a little classier, but alas, I am staring down the barrel of live action Lilo and Stitch. And well,
yeah. If you're talking about class, then it's still kind of, it's at least handshaky. It's slightly gentlemanly because he's alive. Aliens Romulus.
Yeah, no. It's like
Aliens Romulus was
not
super weird when they put the dead man's face on a robot. That was uncalled for and weird.
I mean, it was weird in Rogue One, which I just watched again because Andor's finale was perfect. And I was like, well, I got to watch Rogue One. And I was like, oh, yeah, there was shit. I forgot about Uncanny Valley Tarkin.
Yeah, they did do the Tarkin thing, yeah.
Which it's always the same thing. They always say, we did this as respectfully as we could, while talking to their family and their estate. But I'm just like, what if we just didn't ask to do that in the first place? Because it's kind of, it just doesn't work.
But it
doesn't work. I don't know.
And then you got Bob.
Now I'm off on the Kyle flat. I think I'm getting too far.
But that's because it's intertwined. It's like, how can you talk about this and not bring up Bob Ross's estate and his family selling tools for painting when the man said anybody can paint with anything they could find?
I saw Bob Ross energy drinks at the gas station the other day.
He wouldn't want that, I don't think. I don't know for sure, but I think when he was like painting happy little trees and beating the hell out of that brush, I don't think he wanted energy drinks sold with his face on them.
Certain he didn't,
right?
They didn't freaking exist, and even if they did, I don't think that was really
he doesn't seem like a guy who drank energy drinks.
Yeah, but that's just why it's sticky, right? Because I'm with you. Like, I totally get, you're retiring. You're like, how can I, set my family up, eat with an even more concrete bedrock for their future for as long as I possibly can. I totally understand that. I wish creative corporate side of things was just like, that's lovely. We'll, use clips of you as needed and pay your estate a fair amount for the reuse. And beyond that, we'll give work to new voice actors into the future. But it's, it is what it is. But that's also what we're here to talk about.
Oh, it's even more wonderful.
Anyway.
Chaz informing us now that Bob Ross was he's not owned by his family. Someone else bought him out before.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's not even his family.
Yeah, so he doesn't. They're not even benefiting from that transaction of the energy drink. So it's good. It's extra layered and weird. At any rate, you could make Darth Vader AI who you could get for your team by executing a certain amount of maneuvers to speak with you in a voice recognition program so that he would talk back to you. And
yes.
By yelling the F-bomb enough at him repeatedly, you could make him say it. And then the streamers who did it would cover their mouths like you do in 2025 when something's funny and act all shocked. And that's where I'm like, wait a minute. Hold up. In terms of like raw number of F-bombs, I'm pretty sure you dropped more than the robot did. So
that's what you like.
I'm just saying, like, maybe we shouldn't blame the robot. And they have blamed the players, in fact. If you are voice recognized in the software now, being against the terms of service and saying awful things to Darth Vader, you can get your account banned too. So
we need to protect the sanctity of our AI from hearing foul language now.
No, I think it's more of a Disney World situation.
The future. The future's great.
I think the situation is you need to make sure Disney World's a cool place and everyone's not walking around yelling the F-bomb at AI Vader because you bought the new wand to wave and Star Wars.
But if it's
land.
just you and AI Vader, like who gives a crap?
And maybe 500 of your closest streaming buddies, right? Like you're doing this publicly in their amusement park of their game. It is just funny that they didn't think like no one would do it. Like I think that's innocent. That's beautiful. Do we need to protect? Do you think anyone's gonna say the F word to Vader? No.
This was a thing recently with
ChatGPT,
ChatGPT, right? That you could have ChatGPT act outside of its parameters by being mean enough to it.
By being extremely insistent and mean about it, you could make it change its mind.
Yeah, I have no response other than being shocked to what your brain latched onto. Maybe you'll be shocked by my response. By all of that said, by fully having a conversation with you about how kind of gross I think this all is, I thought this was absolutely hilarious. Like, you deserve it. Please, God, I root for more absolutely horribly spectacular dumpster fire failures of generative AI like this. Because to me, it is truly embarrassing that they would even build this in the first place. And so the fact that the pirates may not have eaten the tourists, but they did cuss them out is it's one of my favorite things that's happened this year. Because they deserve this. It should be bad press for them. And they're not going to learn their lesson, but hopefully when it happens a few more times, they will.
Wow housing. Wow housing.
Wow housing. Oh boy, here it is. Here's the wow housing.
Oh, here we go.
Except
all right.
Here it isn't, because no one was allowed to record a damn thing.
Well, but they're doing it. So, I thought, hey, good on them. They're actually doing it.
I don't understand getting to talk about literally everything you did, everything you saw publicly, but not show it.
I don't, according to all reports, people tried really, really hard to break this thing and they couldn't do it. So it sounds like they had a pretty good system and server on their
Yeah,
hands.
that was the other thing
see it.
too. Is that I've personally I only watched Preach's video so far. I want to go through as many as I can find, just because quite a few people that I know, like, and respect had a chance to check this thing out. Yeah, there were videos, but like if you watch them, there's little to no actual gameplay.
Yeah, it's the canned footage they got, for the making of the video, and 3 screenshots that they could export from their events, which I think there were some pretty decent arguments made of people being like, wait, only 3 why did you invite these guys? Like, why'd you invite raiders? They're not going to give us 3 screenshots worth to see. You need to invite really weird housing people, like club owners and RP people and strip clubs. You need to dig a little. And they did dig. Like, they got a lot of people to come test this out.
Yeah. But yeah, just it's odd, man. I'm like, either embargo or don't. Like, I don't know. It's not, to me, it's an odd strategy. It's strange, particularly because, like, what I've been hearing through the grapevine is, pretty much overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of like pull quotes. I saw a lot of tweets. That was stuff that I could take in over the weekend. Well, while I have my own stuff going on. And then I watched Preach's video, and I would categorize Preach's video as overwhelmingly positive.
Definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. I jive with the way that man's brain works. So I've no reason to think that he'd be gaslighting me on the quality of housing.
No, I don't think.
Even by his own admission, he's like, I'm not even like the target demo for this. I don't spend that much time with, personally engaging in customization of my home and personal quarters in Final Fantasy XIV. But I know he has hosted a lot of housing style content for those that do and are very bought in. So yeah, it's interesting.
I find it odd, and we've worked with Blizzard in the past, and we know how they are about these things. But I find it really weird that they mentioned Rift and not Final Fantasy XIV. Like, I know, like, it's free game, it's gone, it doesn't exist, they're not a competition. But like, come on, like, just say, like, and we have 10K items, and that's really cool compared to others. It's like, well, come, just say something, like, they acknowledge you all the time. Just, like, acknowledge the existence. It's fine. It doesn't have to be super weird or competitive. Just, like, admit that, like, it was an inspiration, or like you wanted to give players that or something.
Yeah, because you can admit it and, like, also, like, still be
and, like, glowing. Yeah,
right? Like, because, like, the truth of the matter is, coming second or third or however many instances of player housing there's been in MMOs, in terms of what you offer as a feature, is a massive leg up, because you can look at what the competition is doing and try and improve. It's why cars are safer now. Like, it's because they have plenty of crashed husks to look at in the past and go, all right, we can improve on that. Hey, how about it doesn't crumble under the weight of its own roof if it flips over? So they did mention 14. Yeah. The devs that Preach talked to mentioned 14. I remember him mentioning that, but I think you were talking about more official verbiage, Kyle. Not
right. From them, I only heard the word Rift, and maybe I missed it. And if I did, then I just thought it was weird that Rift was kind of their focus. But I understand Rift had amazing housing in the past. Really, what I find most interesting about this is just the pipeline and what WoW thinks of housing. Because this isn't a midnight feature. This is not for their next expansion. This is not on the back of the box. This is something that's just going to come out in a patch. And that's kind of wild that they wouldn't box it up. Seems like,
yeah. I mean, it does seem like a value add, right? For the next expansion.
For expansions, yeah. You want to sell the box.
Midnight. Yeah. I mean, I've gotten over it, but my brain does go, they've had things on the box before that we never got, like the Dance Studio.
Sure, but you could have this if it's coming out a patch earlier than midnight. Why not just put it in midnight and make the box cooler? That seems like a no-brainer to me. So it has led some to think, oh wait, does midnight have some feature that hasn't been announced that's going to blow this out of the water so much and going to be so incredible? But I don't think that's the case. I think the case is that housing is something they've now been able to pull off in World of Warcraft. They are doing a lot to make it player friendly, and it is not tied to any sort of progression mechanics, which is leaving the Reddit side like, well, what have you done for me lately? Right? Well, that housing real nice. How are you going to improve my raid? I still have lag in the third fight kind of thing.
I mean, that's an issue you're going to run afoul of with any new MMO feature in any MMO.
And
it
when
doesn't
you have
matter.
an audience that has so many different microcosms inside of it, no one's going to see eye to eye as to what features they want. But it is interesting that the housing is being made so independently of the other features.
I don't think that I don't know. I don't want to take it away from you. I don't want to just like contradict you and say I don't think it is that interesting, but it is kind of my instant reaction. It's just like, I don't know. They probably think it'll be ready with more than enough time, and that adding new housing items in midnight will be enough of a, just a continuing to build off of it. Maybe they don't want players being seemingly, so on. Like maybe they don't want to upset just the expansion launch experience that most players go through, which is it's out, go level, get to end game, start working on your dailies, improving your gear, and they want housing to already be established before you get there. I've seen folks in chat right now saying if it was part of the expansion to be compared to garrisons, which may be valid. My instant response to that is we're already worried from a garrison perspective. For me, that was the first thought that came into my head when they announced housing over a year ago now, right?
I mean, maybe they did. Maybe they actually, like, in their imagination, in the storyboard of their trailer, and big flashes, and blah, level 500 or whatever they're at now, and blah, new gear, blah, new bosses, housing. And they're like, oh my God, people are going to think the new gearing is tied to housing. Where can we put the housing in this storyboard that is going to make it seem like it's not a garrison? And maybe they couldn't do it. Because maybe we would think that. That makes perfect sense to me. I would.
My argument is we already
are concerned about those sort of things. I've heard several. I couldn't find a source for this, but I've heard and seen hearsay that they're not allowing you to craft inside the house. You have to do it outside in the neighborhood, which is a nice touch of, hey, be visible. Hey, participate in the world. Now, nobody has seen a neighborhood. And there isn't any information about the neighborhood. Can't be shared yet, is all we know. Neighborhood information is coming soon. So we still don't know if it's in an actual place, if it's like guild spawned, if you can pick up your house and move it to a different guild. Like, how are you going to even have a neighborhood without a server and a plot tied to it to visit it?
Yeah. And chat, like, I'm seeing a lot of things that are right. I think Kyle and I see them as a bit obvious. This is probably why we're not mentioning it. Things like they could be putting it out before to be part of the hype cycle. They could be putting it out before to help with the content drought. My brain already thinks about those things, and I'm just like, yeah, okay. Like, I don't know. I've had so many conversations about.
Oh my God, I think we're broadcasting at 58 bits. That makes no sense. But we're back. The video quality is not 58 bits. That'd be insane. Okay, we're back.
Fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, chat. We are back.
We're back.
Blizzard Curse, maybe. I mean, but WoW was also killing, when we were having that WoW issue, it was also killing our connection to each other on things like Discord. And you and I have been talking to each other.
Yeah, no, we were here the whole time. So
the entire time.
It was likely a multi-streaming server crash.
A lot of saying video looks great for 58
I agree. Yeah, that's a scary alert to get. Oh, what was
And on
I?
my end, I'm seeing a green dot and it says good connection.
Good
so I'm glad that we're
connection.
both getting completely mixed signals from the dashboard right now.
Excellent. What was I talking
Huzzah.
about? Where was I?
I don't remember.
Where was I? What was I talking about?
I-
What was the
I
last
know
thing you
what-
all heard? Let's see. Well, there's F's.
chat.
Let's see here. The people in your neighborhood, the neighborhood. No, that's just the Mr. Rogers song.
It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood.
I think you were talking about utility and all that, neighborhoods and such. Yeah, Garrett was
It's
talking.
an okay Blink-182 album, not their best.
Oh yeah, so the other okay, all new items coming to WoW are designed with housing in mind, especially dyeable ones. Is a quote from Preach's video. However, all the players could find shop icons all over this thing, which big shock, whoop-de-doo. That market trading post thing has been in the game for a long time. It's
They're
kind
adding
of-
chihuahuas to the trading post, and it's making me want to dip my toe back into retail.
It's kind of just, it's whatever. It's a little frustrating because it has like a quest icon on it, and I don't want to participate with it, and it keeps acting like a quest that needs to be done the few times I played retail in the last year. But other than that, like, it's fine, shops exist.
It's relatively easy enough to ignore if it is something that you do not want to engage with. They clearly, I'm not here to talk about that damn thing.
But the cool thing about it is that they're redoing a lot of old ad sets, giving them bottoms when ones didn't existed because they were embedded in the floor. So like carpets didn't have any textures underneath them, and you can place anything in 3D space, which is interesting. Like how cool that you could
like considered against the EULA in Final Fantasy XIV. Like glitching is actively discouraged in decorating of homes.
There's a little bit of like how cool that they did when it comes to Final Fantasy XIV. Like what makes it so impressive of a production, if you have a nice house, is that you had to work that hard to make it that way. Here in WoW housing, you can make the most cursed thing you could possibly imagine, and you have an obscene amount of items for it. So one of the items said it was 10K items. Some of them might count as 5. Like if you put a whole Brontosaurus in your house, that might count as 10 items. But
oh, interesting. So not all items are a single unit of
yes,
measurement.
but I believe the highest count they could find in the build that people were touring was 5. And that was like a in-motion item compared to like Final Fantasy houses, which allow for an item cap of 400. The outside does not match the inside. You can add more space. It's a void space. You aren't beholden to the outside side of the house either when you get to this, and that's the same as Final Fantasy. Obviously, those houses are quite small from the outside.
Yeah,
but you can't add to their size.
It's TARDIS tech. We're Doctor Whoing all over the place.
So I'm honestly I'm impressed. Like obviously they have a lot of they got a lot of room to go.
I would be impressed if I could see actual gameplay from actual testers.
I don't think they're coming back and lying.
I don't think
they were like tactically targeted a bunch of liars.
I find it annoying.
Yeah, it's a little.
What is the point? You just want people to say things, and you don't want us to be able to judge with our own eyes. And that is obnoxious.
Yes, that is true. But there's often limitations on any sort of these press events. It's just usually it's not 3 screenshots. And in that way, a lot of people, as I said, feel like they invited the wrong people because
I think I see it as like the worst of both worlds, because you always talk about how you don't like the overly produced developer interviews that Blizzard puts out, and that you prefer, say, something like the live letters from Final Fantasy XIV. The developers are actually live and like showing you assets on a printed piece of 8.5 by 11 paper, and that you find that more engaging and kind of sincere. And this is like, I see it as the worst of both worlds, because we're getting the more relatable sincerity from the side of the content creators who got the Testis actually getting to make videos talking about their experience. And yet we're being subjected to very limited canned footage that just kind of irks me in the same way they're very glossy, pre-made developer interviews are put out. So it just kind of irks me. This is the end of the world? No. But also, I don't have to like it.
No, you don't.
I have to go, thank you so much for letting other people tell me about the thing you've been telling me about for a year.
It was
Thank
so
you much,
wonderful
Blizzard.
for you to give us a glimpse of your digital assets.
Yeah. And I would like to think, by the way, that even if we had been given a heads up that we should go to PAX and got invited to this thing, that I would still come back and say, whether I liked it or not, my experience, and I would still say, boy, does it suck that we weren't allowed to show anything.
Yeah, I do struggle to think what I would even create for a single screenshot in a initial play test in a short amount of time that would be of any value to anybody.
We would probably talk about it on the podcast and then clip it for the Clips channel. Yeah, I would be probably annoyed enough that I wouldn't want to make a standalone video. It's like, what the hell would I show the same canned piece of footage multiple times over a 30 to 45-minute discussion?
No, and I just love a good dumpster fire. So if anything, my biggest interest in all this, I'm like, oh shit, they got so-and-so to go look at that. Like, oh no. Oh no, WoW's crossing the line. They're trying to get people from the other side. They're making their move. Checkmate.
People from the other side that are already known to play both games.
Exactly. Yeah. But I still enjoy a good drama. So that's all I'm joining out of this.
Well, I mean, we have folks in chat, trying to make their own drama, like this one that says, "Let's not pretend it was anything other than marketing." Like, of course it was marketing.
Yeah, they're trying to sell a video game.
We don't mention it because, of course, it is.
Yeah.
Why you got to make it sound like Cloak and Dagger?
Out of the goodness of my heart, I invite you all to see the assets entirely free for no reason. Like, no, they want to sell their video game.
Yeah, God,
They have shareholders and stuff to,
Of course it is. All of it's marketing.
Always has been.
We're having a conversation about what type of marketing we prefer.
How we want to be communicated with.
This entire conversation. Oh.
Like Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering.
Yes. Dude,
Something about this year, probably because the price of everything is increasing.
For completely preventable reasons. I'm everything in my everything I see. I'm just like, it's like the post 9/11 terrorist alert system. Any announcement I see from any company about anything I'm vaguely interested in, I just do like a red, yellow, or green scale of how much of a cynical cash grab it is.
I mean, you could have used Smokey the Bear, but okay, sure.
This year's breaking me.
Smokey the Bear's been doing that way longer, but we don't accuse him of anything. Okay, fine. You can have this. Continue.
This year's breaking me. Breaking me.
Okay.
I've explained myself more succinctly than I feel you have at all today. I would put the 14 MTG collabs like pretty firmly in the green category. I don't think it's very cynical. I think the concept of MTG trying to make itself, and honestly, I think it has kind of successfully made itself, like it's Fortnite-ified itself, I think, rather successfully. I do find that as a core concept fairly cynical. But if you're gonna do it, boy, how did they seem to be doing a really good job with this IP collaboration. We did an impromptu spoiler stream looking at all of the Final Fantasy 14 cards so far last Monday? Tuesday. Last Tuesday
is when we did, yeah.
Yeah, it's public on the channel if you want to go to the Grinding Gear YouTube and check it out. I highly recommend that you go do. I had a lot of fun that day. That was exactly what I needed. So yeah, like obviously they, just call this segment, they want your money. They came for your money. Invasion of the money snatchers. Clearly they they want our money, man. But if you're gonna ask for my money, I hope it's a quality product. And as a a past enjoyer of Magic the Gathering, this looks like a quality product. This looks like a rockin' MTG set. And if you're a fan of Final Fantasy, and granted, I am primarily can really only speak to the 14 side of things. This is extremely well themed. It is these cards are well put together. The theming of how they function mechanically excite me as a Magic fan and as a fan of Final Fantasy 14. I think it's come out that two of the people that worked on Balance, one of which is a regular player, and the other, I believe, played all the way up through Shadowbringers to prepare for designing the set. And I think it shows.
And they got like some of the actual Final Fantasy artists to do cards, alternate art, and it's not just like basic memes. Like here I have on screen the suplex of the train. You know, you got your monk running at a train, a famously memed moment from Final Fantasy VI, which I can say because the card here says Final Fantasy VI on the bottom.
Oh, that's new. Nice.
Yeah, like that.
Nice.
That communicates a basic understanding of what people want from the set. But then you have things like Knights of the Round, summon, create 3/2/2 white knight creature tokens. Ultimate end. Other creatures you control get +2/+2. Put an indestructible counter on each of them. Like it's doing what you think in like your homebrew, let's get a magic card PDF generator passed around. Let's all make magic cards for fun this evening. They keep making things that feel like what you would just make as a fan to express this. And then it's their job to bounce. It's their job to make this cost 8, apparently. Holy shit. That's a lot for some indestructible knights, but hell yeah. And with each one of these, they come out, whether or not it's a Final Fantasy 14, which is what we would know the most, or other Final Fantasy products. It looks good. It's really flavorful and fun. Hell yeah. Like, not all these have been created equal. There have been some real stinkers in the Magic the Gathering multiverse. And a lot of them have just been free skins, which is really kind of the odd cash grab ones. Like, oh, it's Godzilla instead of a 6/6. What is he? A beast. I guess he'd be a 6/6 beast.
I just want to say, chat, the day you stop rubbing my nose and I'm sure as shit not playing 14 quote is the day I know we're dead in the water. I love that you still have fun with that. Yeah, for the audio listeners, we got Aleph in chat saying Garrett in 21, sure as shit not playing. Garrett in 25, about to bankrupt himself trying to get Emmett Silk full art.
They're really cute. Now that is weird. The Emmett Silk fans have gotten a little weird. Y'all need to calm down. Not every card needs to have an Emmett Silk quote on it. There are perfectly reasonable quotes that other people. You've got like 5 cards.
Are you talking about the Crystal of Azim?
The Azim, yeah, but also
they're
like
right. By the way, that should not be a Heidelin quote.
He has more than enough.
Heidelin has jack shit to do with that artifact.
They just put out another Emmet. I don't even know what this Emmet is from. It's a different Emmet card. There are so many Emmet cards. What is? This one's expensive as shit too. What set is this? This is some sort of weird alternate art, so I don't even know if it's chocobos or legal or standard anymore. I haven't seen this yet. A Phyrexian horror minion, which is wonderful. I guess this is
I have no idea.
Fake?
What is that?
Is this real? I have no idea. There's too many Emmets, and I think they're all real now.
This is why I only look at the official site.
I'm so lost. But the 14 artifact equipment is amazing.
Chat is saying that is not official.
Oh, well, there's a bunch of these apparently all over the spoiler sites today. Well, the official site doesn't have them in release order, at least as I could tell immediately. So that's why I'm here on some alternate site.
Gotcha.
There's that freaky weird chef nanny. You know, I'm sure everyone's really excited that she can sacrifice a frog. Congrats. I think that's very flavorful. Apparently, enjoy your chef nanny is now available.
What makes you say nanny?
Well, she's got like a little chef hat, and she's got a little like she's got nanny. She got those big saggy nanny businesses going on.
I would call it like Chef Baby. That looks like an old timey baby.
No, look at that. She's got
situation.
old lady boobs right there. They're all,
I thought that was a shirt folding.
No, she's got an apron on. Got big nanny energy.
There's
like
no
other than a fork, but that's not a chef hat.
Apron.
Well, that's not a chef
I guess
hat.
it could be a half apron.
Those would get in the soup right there. We're talking about Queena, Gourmet. For anyone who's played Final Fantasy IX, apparently. See, I'm well outside my understanding.
We can tell.
Well, there you go. A very flavorful set. I felt in the need of a day full of weird cash things going on. I felt we should highlight one that just kind of feels like someone's a fan over there. And that's not. It's kind of like when Mandalorian happened and we were like, wow, look at that. They do care.
Let me tell you, there is a more recent example for wow. They gave a shit about this.
Yeah, but that's just boring people talking about boring stuff.
I'm going to reach.
You enjoy that. You enjoy that. You enjoy them talking about politics and planets and stuff. Doom Dark Ages.
Boring Warhammer wannabe being boring.
What? Doom, wait, you're not at all interested in the Doom? You don't like the Doom?
You're not at all interested in the greatest piece of Star Wars media made in the last 20 years?
Oh, yeah, that's personal preference,
Oh, okay.
Sweet. Okay, cool. Excellent.
You're
being
dismissive about something I love. I'm going to be dismissive about something you love.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
how does it feel?
It's got a very positive on Steam. It's a little it's only 16 hours long maximum, and it's a expensive ass game.
That's the biggest selling feature for this for me, by the way.
Is that it's really
the
short?
Playtime is short.
You agree with Sonic the Hedgehog?
Sonic the Hedgehog?
The famous picture of Sonic being like, I want games to be shorter, and I'm not lying.
I've never
You're
seen
not familiar with the picture
I look
of
forward
Sonic?
to being educated.
I want video games to be shorter with worse graphics, is I believe the famous Sonic quote of
What
that
else
image.
what else do you love, Kyle, that I can be dismissive of?
Why
Helsing, wannabe Carmen Sandiego.
I only attacked one thing that you like. What's the deficit you're feeling here?
The quality of the thing that I like that you're dismissing.
Okay, well that's fine. That's fine. You also love Shogun where they kill babies, Like I just we all got our things and our times.
Yes,
and
because
places.
that's the reason I love Shogun.
You were like,
yeah,
Kyle, you gotta watch this. I just love when they're killing the babies.
I know you weren't allowed to continue watching it, but there's more episodes beyond that.
Well, that's where we end the show then. Thank you all for joining us.
You can talk about Doom.
No, it's all good. I was just going to talk about it a little bit, but it's all good.
I didn't think you liked the follow-up to 2016. So I'm surprised that you like this because I think it's more of a continuation of the last Doom and not the one that you really liked.
They haven't really recaptured a lot of the puzzle shooting elements of it, but I think that it's getting a lot of praise, which is interesting. I'm honestly just kind of sad at the length when you get right down to it for the cost. I just kind of want more puzzles and more game there. But I am impressed with how well it's reviewing. In particular, the sound design is apparently amazing. Just constantly. Just top of the line.
Sound in games just generally this year impressing the shit out of me. Maybe it's probably because I'm playing with full-on can headphones way more often now. But we just finished Split Fiction last week on stream.
Yes.
And holy hell.
Yeah.
First off, my favorite game I played this year so far. And I always feel like the need to stipulate that I have not played Claire Obscure yet. I am aware it's darling and that you, hearing my voice say words, probably want to respond with, but Claire Obscure. I haven't played it yet. Split Fiction, so far, game of the year for me. And the sound design was just... I was so impressed, man. I was so impressed. The sound design in Doom is at... What? Oh, man.
That's not what I'm hearing.
I'm not the only one coming after Doom. I'm not actually even that mad about Doom. I just wanted to hit back. That's all. I am a child.
Well, Split Fiction is amazing. In fact, there's been there's been quite a bit of talk across various websites that the game of the year right now is between two AA games, which I think just shows that passion is alive and well in video games. We just got to get it from other sources. And Split Fiction was incredible. We beat it last week. It's up on the channel if you want to watch the full ending of it. Absolutely blew us away. I think I can speak for you there. Like it was just impressive how they held back a little bit for the final moments. And watching it again, I showed it to Kristen. I was like, "Hey, Kristen, you got to see this. You got to see what happened there." And she's like, "Well, that's not. Well, that doesn't. Why?" Like, no. Wait. Rewind. You got to see the earlier moment where like a portal opened. And now you have to see when there's like 20 portals. It escalated. It escalated beyond absolute understanding. And it was incredible. It was an absolute darling of a game. It was incredible.
Yeah. It was nuts, man. It was really not like, just for me personally, obviously Split Fiction isn't hyper topical. It's been out for a while now. But the whiplash of that being the last thing we did last week, going away and having an IRL weekend with family, and then coming back to like the marathon controversy, the AI Darth Vader Fortnite fiasco, and intense debate about housing in MMOs that feels a little console war-y to me. Just being like, man, when you just like play a different game, sometimes you just remember why you give a shit in the first place, and things can charm you and delight you and make you believe in the magic of the creative process and the medium that is video games again. And that was the whiplash I felt figuring out what we wanted to talk about today. Just like, man, I ended last week like really just believing in the magic of games again. And then
thanks to Split Fiction.
And then discourse came back. It's back. It's here. Did it ever go away? I hope it does.
Don't forget the brewing debate, says Chad, about the 14 between mobile and retail. You could not make me care.
16 die channels is what the last thing I heard people are mad about.
It's fine. Let them have it. It's fine. They can have it. Why? That is some apples and oranges.
They have to play on a slate of glass.
It's fine. They can do it.
Do you know how much that sucks for most games?
They have auto pathing to get between things. It's fine. That's how that game would have to run. They get to start over from the beginning and use
how. Actually, you know what? No.
What?
Never mind.
Oh,
never mind. I disagree with you.
Okay.
I disagree with you. It is so goddamn refreshing to hear Final Fantasy 14 players advocating for their game to be improved, as opposed to sulking and going, nothing will change anyway, why ask? Because that is usually the response from a vast majority of Final Fantasy 14 players.
That's fair.
When you start to discuss any sort of improvement to that game. Any at all.
Spaghetti code, man. It's a spaghetti code.
So I disagree. I hope the mobile game fucking spaghetti code. God forbid a man have hobbies like discussing video games.
And then we want to thank our patrons.
Oh yes.
Yeah, we absolutely want to thank our patrons.
Do we ever? Do we freaking ever want to thank our patrons? As you know, we don't have we don't get a paycheck from like a corporate overlord. We don't
not yet
have
anyway.
A boss.
Yeah, you'll know that when we stop yelling about Darth Vader that we sold out.
Yeah. I promise you, it will be enough money that it was worth.
It was worth it.
I can be bought, but no one has paid enough yet.
As a father, I appreciate your support over at Patreon at supportourbromance.com.
As a man with a crippling car addiction. But we don't have a boss. We have many over at supportourbromance.com. And y'all turned up. We got a lot of new patrons in the last couple of weeks since we recorded the podcast. And as you know, if you sign up, we go out of our way to give you a thanks on the next episode of the podcast. So Riley S, Jay Prince, Shalil, Joe Cole Hop.
That's what I go with. Yeah, that's what I go with. Yeah.
I hope I'm doing some justice there. K Porisu, Nick Y, and Anonymous, if that is your real name. Thank you for signing up on our Patreon. But wait, there's more. We also want to thank KLG Chaos, Brian G, Kevin G, Peter M, and Shulden Frida for giving us a raise. You've been patrons, and you just decided we deserved a raise. You upped your pledge. That's a thing you can do if you want. And we really appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. Cannot thank you enough, but we're gonna try. Damn it.
Thank you so much for signing up this week. It's extremely encouraging as we are approaching our June 2nd announcement of some of our upcoming content here on the channel. And look forward to it. Head on over to supportourbromance.com. Even if you're just curious, watch the recent little video I put up of some of the technology we have here in Studio K. Really appreciate y'all supporting. And if this episode is anything to show, we want to have fun around here. I don't mean that in a big, like, cheesy, like, you know, disappointing parent kind of way. Like, we were supposed to. No. Like, seriously, we are making plans for the future that we're really, really excited for, and we look forward to, and we hope you join us for them.
Yes, please do. And huge thanks to our legendary level backers. If you're at this level, we thank you each and every episode of the podcast, as well as give you credit at the end of our edited videos. So a big thank you to Sean B, Cheesy Bob, Chris K, Lost Mythics, Zervon, Compsci Jedi, Pothy P, Bloodsy Vaughn, Snugglegore, Avane, Shinny Geo, Nicholas C, Thalm, Jerry T, Sean and Jen, Vernacular Ham, Brom, Vasilius, and KLG Chaos, who apparently thought we really needed to raise.
Appreciate you.
So thank you for that. And beyond that, I'm seeing, it's so funny. I'm seeing jokes, based on my, like, we could be bought, but no one's offered enough. And I'm seeing a joke about a mobile game that we have turned down because of the wonderful support of both our YouTube membership program and our Patreon. So thank you for letting us turn down games that we think kind of stink.
Well, and also, those will be on the video for forever. And we hope we make some timeless things from time to time and that they are enjoyed into the future. And you don't have to hear about those products when they're now defunct, weird, or suffering copyright issues. At some future date.
Again, man, I just wanted Bungie to have a win, man. I was actively rooting for them. Anyway, beyond that, as you know, we are sponsored by DogHouseSystems.com. Use the code BROMANCE. Get upgraded to a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD for your trouble. If you are in the market for a new gaming PC, check out DogHouseSystems.com. Kyle and I both use one. We have identical rigs. We enjoy them quite a bit. Other than that, we're on social media at Garrett Art and at Kyle Ferguson. You can find us on the blue site and the previously blue site. And that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Grinding Gear podcast. If you're watching live, we'll see you afterwards. If you're listening on audio, GG.
Take care.
Garrett, with the Obi-Wan to Anakin speech, you were the chosen. I mean, the people.
It doesn't mean you don't.
Into a corporate
we all
overlord.
have these. I've got Magic, not the Magic the guy. I've got D&D. Like, sometimes you're just like, man, couldn't you just be cool? I just wanted you to be cool. That was kind of the point. I thought we were being cool together. You seemed like you were cool there for a bit.
I can be a fan again, but I like to the level I was. Studio like Blizzard, I don't think I'm capable of that again after all the Blizzard controversies and also just plain disappointments like Warcraft 3 Reforged and stuff. I'm happy to play their games, but I'm not just gonna go in windmill slam everything they ever release. And I'm gonna go in with a little bit of skepticism.
I did go by the Heroes of the Storm Reddit yesterday, and they're having a pretty good time over there. They're coming out
Yeah,
for GeForce Now apparently too, so they're gonna get one more little
oh, sick. But
sharing.
they've done a really good job with that game in maintenance mode.
Yeah, and the patches have been flowing like once every 2 months still, which is about the progress they were at when we stopped covering it.
Yeah, it's
Brawl
it's
is
really
back in the
funny.
game.
Yeah. Like I have no regrets, and I think it was I think it was just about damn time for both of us, just for something new when we ended ITN. However, I don't know, knowing us, we probably would have done a few more episodes if we knew it was still going to keep getting patches.
Yeah,
There was a long break though.
Well, and it coincided there with the cancellation of the esports events that I was working for as well at the same time. So it was a multi-layered decision.
Yeah, and to be specific, it wasn't the official Blizzard esports. It was a community run esports.
Right. But they were
a lot of
out.
those. Yeah, there's not many left now. A lot of them, yeah, as you said, tagged out with news that that the game was going into maintenance mode. But if this is maintenance mode, like damn, that's pretty damn good maintenance. And the game's still fun. I mean, we still get in there and we find quick match games like instantly.
Oh yeah, I got in there. The Friday I played a game and there was a guy rocking a boost and everything. You know, someone had bought a boost and I benefited 5% XP from their presence, and we had ourselves a 30-minute match.
I find that so refreshing, man. Like it's like there's still people like they just don't care about the rat race. They don't care about what game is the most popular. They care about what they like. And that's it. And I love it. It's just like such a purity to that type. Like it's true hobbyism. Like it's about what it does for you, and that's all that matters. And I freaking love that. And clearly, it does enough for enough people because quick match. I have no idea what's going on in ranked, and I probably never play another ranked game again. But quick match is just like game. Still not having to wait. I wait longer for a damn dungeon in Final Fantasy XIV as a tank than I do for a game in Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, it is neat like that. I have no idea how long a ranked match would take to get. I saw some interesting comments during our extraction shooter, but hey, we're at the end of the show, so we'll do our super forum here, reading your supers and also your Twitch subs that were sent over during that time. So thank you all so much for the support.
Nice. That's easier for you to see than me because you're running the stream and you can see everything like
in fact
together.
I see one here from Drooping Fig over on Twitch. Would love to see y'all do some M plus Mythic Plus. Are Discord member perks attached to Twitch subs? Yeah, they can be. Absolutely. Yeah, I can do that. That's something we could do. Let me get back to you on that. Let me see what the buttons are over on Twitch land.
Oh yeah, if you can do that, we should do that.
Yeah,
we should give access. Yeah, if you're a Twitch sub, you should also get members access. That is totally something we should do. I didn't even think about that. I've been like so not Twitch brained since we rebranded as Grinding Gear.
Yeah, well, we got the symbols over there. Things are on the business of doing the multi-streaming now. Is it hobbyism or pure sunk cost fallacy? That is a question that can only be answered by you, and don't you dare ask the internet to define that for you. That is your business and your business alone. Though finding out that answer for yourself is very important.
Yeah, but I think that's a little mean-spirited to accuse others of that.
That's what I'm saying. You have to decide for yourself.
Yeah, only they know, and you can't tell someone that. That was like I was listening. I haven't listened in a while. I listened to an episode of Coeurl the other day. I don't know if it was the most recent one or not, but our buddy Bo is talking about how he was on a massive heroes bender where he thinks he hit triple-digit games in 1 week.
Wow.
That's a lot. It sounds like you have not heard this.
No,
episode.
I haven't heard this episode.
And in the middle of the episode, he starts going back and forth with someone in chat who's like, "Oh, it's probably all bots," and like that line of thinking sends me. Just like speaking with such surety based on jack fucking shit. Like that person back when HOTS Esports died, went dead game, and they just believed it with such a purity of heart that the idea that you could have a quick queue and quick match is just completely alien. And they're like so bought in to the console war energy of League One HOTS Lost that they can't even like imagine a reality where people are still playing that game. And I think it's so.
That's a really intense one to do that with, because I have so much personal experience and still it could be sunk cost fallacy.
And that's I think part of what sent me was like, and you're gonna say that the bow, someone who is more tapped in than that person probably ever was in Heroes of the Storm, like Bo knows. Bo can definitely claim being an expert on the current state of Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, and I don't think. I mean, yeah, there's all kinds of weird bots. Like you see them in hardcore sometimes, just running a single ice cave over and over again. But yeah, you hope you can identify them. You can certainly identify the official bots that were inside something like Pokemon Unite. You knew that you had sucked hard enough to earn yourself the pity game, and that made it all the more tilting when you were fighting those bots.
I just find that energy so bizarre. Just like the instant conspiracy theories, and to have that kind of energy and bring it into gaming. Why?
Oh yeah, okay, there it is. So it looks like it was our multi-stream today was causing the issue. So I'll probably have to just get in the market for a new multi-stream vendor, which is a shame because I paid for the full year. That's why I would be like, oh, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
This is for the OBS add-on?
That's what I'd have to invest in as a different service.
Oh, you're still using slobs?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So we've been chasing this for a bit, Chad. What's interesting about today is it's the first time it consistently dropped everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, but we still maintained internet. Anyway, we're back. Hi. What were we talking about? We were about to do our super forum. I was about to talk about, I'm probably too deep into Heroes was killed with no good reason, and public perception was warped by the company to have a reasonable conversation about what happened to Heroes. So I really can't address.
Yeah.
And it's a great game.
Yeah, I was invoking what I see as one of the newest discourse copy pastas on social media, which is a screenshot of someone, I think, tweeting, people be saying things so definitively. Like, man, I think it depends. Well, and I think about this a lot right now.
And I was on my Reddit roundup. So, full disclosure, like it freaking matters. We were having sleep trouble. So I had to walk a kid for over 40 minutes last night. And so I was doing the shoulder sleep with my phone, and I ran out of shit to do on my phone that was quiet. So I was like, well, what's my old Reddit haunts like? What's Reddit heroes look like? So I went and read that for a little bit, and then I was like, well, what's WoW talking about? And I went over to WoW and I read them talking about Preach. And it was fascinating because there are a lot of people that feel like Preach abandoned them in Shadowlands. They weren't playing the game themselves. They hated Shadowlands too. But the fact that Preach would abandon them during their time of need was a complete sin. And it would mar his record for the rest of his days. How dare Blizzard ever work with him again? And it was a fascinating, to me, and this is my own personal experience, to me it was a very 20-year-old kind of mentality. It was the dolphins abusing the poor pufferfish. Like, they don't have mates. They're all just out there trying to get high off that pufferfish and do whatever they can to find community and society. But why harbor anger at somebody who left a game you weren't playing? And if those situations changed, why would you feel the need to hold that against them? When I even remember Preach in those original videos saying that he would be back should things change. And he was very upset, obviously. He was extremely disenfranchised and disgruntled after multiple expansions of wanting change through BFA into Shadowlands. But he said in that video that if things changed, he'd be back.
Yeah, you did you see one of his more recent? Obviously not the housing video, but I watched that too. But just before that, we're I think I could claim we're friends with Mike now.
I think I think we're friends.
We've interacted with Mike enough. I consider him a friend. But we have him on enough that I think it's odd to talk about him without him here. But it's very rare I watch content from my content creator friends. But by random happenstance, I have consumed 2 Preach videos recently. And one was the one where he was talking about coming back to World of Warcraft, which was, I think, the video he put out before the housing video. And he talks about exactly what you're commenting on, which is the kind of how difficult it is to reconcile as a content creator the fact that the audience is allowed to come and go as willy-nilly as they please, but the second a content creator decides to take a break from a game, it's a statement. And boy, howdy, did I feel seen hearing that from him. It makes me want, like, maybe we should just invite him on. Dude, I ate that video up. Like, I want to have him on and just talk shop. Like, normally we hang out with Mike like when we play the same game, or when there's something pretty big in the WoW or the 14 space going on. And this is the first time where I was like, man, I just want to sit down and talk shop with Mike.
Well, and you mentioned, like it's a tough financial year for many, and I think that's just going to put more pressure on a free-to-play game. I don't know if Marathon was going to be free-to-play or not, so I won't make any statements there, but certainly MMOs are going to be under more scrutiny, because one of the first things I think we all collectively do when tightening the belt is we go, well, oh God, it looks like I'm only playing 1 game a month. What am I going to play? Oh, well, this is cheap and easy. I'll keep playing my favorite MMO. Wait, it doesn't have enough content for me. Oh, no. But I'm paying for you. And on the other side of that, you have situations that happen, like what's happening with Breach, where he gets to explore all these games he missed because he was embedded in WoW as an only game player. And that's really cool for him.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just identified with the thought, because we've had it too. I think I don't think I've ever gotten the pushback as hard as Preach has, but I've still experienced it to some degree. I think by the time things like Angry Chicken ended and Into the Nexus ended, like the audience was smaller, so we didn't hear from as many people because enough people had already left before we decided to end it.
Yeah, maybe. I think, there were a couple of people with when we said goodbye to Heroes that were like, no, not you too. You admitting it makes it more true. But I also kind of felt like we got the sort of like, you did what you could kind of thumbs up there in the end.
I got a lot of really sweet and respectful messages and when Into the Nexus ended. I saw people who were sad too, and that was hard to see, because boy, did we just grow as people and content creators and figure out
what 7
makes
years,
us
right?
happy.
Yeah, and
during that show, and honestly, like insanely, I think the best years of that show were like the back 3, like post official Heroes Esports. Like it was such a surprise. I was so proud of us, really. Like, just admit it. I don't know. I don't like to admit my own pride very often, but I was really proud of us on that one, because we were terrified when that went down. And I don't want to be too proud, because there's literally people who lost their jobs when the esports went down. But our future was just so goddamn uncertain, and that was my favorite years of the show. We really made that shit our own. It was cool. So, yeah. Anyway,
Anyway,
bringing it back around to the whole reason we were continuing the stream afterwards before multi-streaming decided to implode. Messages, supers, and member messages that came in during the show. Exciser, thank you for celebrating 2 months. Thanks for being here for 2 months. Or 2 months, 2 years. Not to say years. My brain. We've talked about a lot today.
Oh yeah, there's a lot going on.
There is
cable
a lot
hell and all
going
that
on.
too.
Cable. Oh, your cable.
Yeah,
yes.
cable. The nice thing is
Yeah.
I have it color coordinated, so I have colored USB-Cs and colored Ethernet cables that are the same color going into devices now, which is kind of.
Oh, have I shown you cable flags? Katie got me a little package of cable flags for Christmas, and I love them. The little flags that you tie around. The end of the cable, and you can write on them.
Yeah, those are nice. Yeah, those are nice.
Yeah. It was just like I have never even thought about these, and they have improved my quality of content creation life drastically. Label your cables, everybody. Label your cables. It's very helpful. Avane, thanks for the super much earlier. Said, yeah, we get it. You love your wife, Garrett. For real though, you two are adorable. You guys. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Stop wasting our time with this monogamy.
We clown a lot. We spend a lot of our time around thirsty waifu and husbando enjoyers. And I'm not above getting in on that myself. But I do like to remind everybody once in a while that I am a absolutely borderline, barely able to function romantic. I really like married life. Really agrees with me. Really like being married to Katie, and I'm very thankful for it. And we're, it's 10 years this year. This October.
Oh, nice! Congratulations.
So I'm thinking about it a lot. I'm just like thinking about the fact that and before that we lived together for damn near 5 years. So it's been like 15 years of us just 24/7 being each other's lives, and time goes by. I think for everybody at some point you do take it for granted. So I've been thinking about it a lot, about how thankful I am. You and I have similar stories where we both feel fortunate that people we are now married to came back into our lives.
Yes, we're insistent. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Who in this chat could possibly be? I know, right? What a unfair thing to levy at the Gearbox. That you all might be quick to go, oh my God, I'm in love.
Yeah, but find someone to share that with.
Or something maybe a little bluer in your description. But Imaraji, thanks for 31 months, said, as a Tarkov player with thousands of hours, being locked in a corner, assaulted from all sides, knowing you can lose it all is 100% the thrill. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. I'm just jealous of y'all shooters and your stupid games that keep coming out for your stupid game types with your stupid guns.
Wow. 2025 is the year of Kyle not covering up even a little when he doesn't like something.
Well, I understand why someone would like it. I just wish, there were more top-down MOBAs / strategy games, and I wish that was the vessel of which we told more stories.
I mean, this is the year of a lot of new RTSs.
Sword, yeah.
I don't think any of them have story modes though.
Well, and I got some messages too of like, oh, you gotta check out this one, and I do. That's where the corporation works well on your side, because you do want that accolade and energy, that gravitas of the game you're playing, of it being big enough. I mean, there are absolutely stellar strategy games being made, but that's when you go, well, can't I get a big company to make a really big one that everybody wants to play? So when I have skills, I can beat up on my friends because it's so popular they want to play, and then they realize they suck like I suck at shooters. It could, see, it's all about getting a show off at the end of the day.
You know what it's like to be me, someone who enjoys shooters but spends his time completely surrounded by tab targeting perverts. I cannot get any of you fuckers to play a shooter with me.
I know you're in the wrong crowd. It's tough, I'm sure.
I also love tab targeting.
Yeah.
But like, goddamn, learn to aim. It's not that hard.
It is hard. It's hard, man.
It's they've made more approachable games. That's why Destiny was as popular as it was for as long as it was, because it is approachable. Yeah, I'm not saying you should play an extraction shooter. I don't want to play an extraction shooter.
No, and I see the appeal of that. I do see the appeal of Tarkov. I just I followed any munition for years. I watched her play a lot of Tarkov, and boy, some of the audio bugs that were happening.
I watched Ammunition.
Yeah, I really
she
like her.
rolls.
I think she has a great attitude, and I think she does a great job with her Minecraft content as well. Trying to recover from.
She probably on my Mount Rushmore of streamers. Just like, just really good at it. Like, feel very much the same way about her I do Day 9. Just like. And I was on a panel with both of them, but I've interacted with Day 9 a few more times, and it's just like he's a human too, and it's just as hard for him as it is for me. But even though I've met Day 9 more than once and had a chance to talk shop with him, like I still watch him to this day and go, God damn it, why are you just so effortlessly affable? Like you're just so good at this. So yeah, it's just I don't know, man. It's I'm thankful for it that I can still be impressed by people, even though I've been doing it for so long. I'm thankful for people that impress me and inspire me, and they're still around.
It's an important time for that.
So, yeah, it really freaking is. Zico, Super Destiny PvP is the worst aspect of modern Bungie. I barely interface with it, so I can't really speak to that.
This was a hot take in the middle of the show there.
Was it?
It was more that. It was more that what's toxic, the game or the audience that plays it, and it just kind of it was a conversation that kind of petered off, but it was a sort of interesting idea. I do think you can villainously make a game that is so frustrating it breeds toxicity, but you can also make a game that attracts toxic people. Last week, I was watching somebody had posted gameplay of Night Rain, and they were going off about their partners they got randomed into and how pissed off they were that these players couldn't play. And the chat was like, yeah, why even queue for a game if you can't effing play? And it was just like the game isn't even out yet, but yeah, you're already pre-angry about the ability of players to even play the game.
How are they going to learn? Like this is the most interested in a FromSoft game I've ever been because co-op is at the heart of it. Like FromSoft games scare me, but I am interested. And also, they're like inherently class-based, particularly Elden Ring is like inherently class-based or at least specialization-based. And I love that kind of shit. And so like, this is going to be the first time like I really want to get in on day one and go. And I know I'm shit at this game. So I'm queuing up because I want to play the game. And that's how I'm going to learn is by playing the game.
And I think that's where the friend slop idea comes from. That why do companies keep making these games that you need friends to play, or at least you need friends to be good at? And then that leads to the conversation of, well, why don't they make like a skill-based matchmaking? Because I'm so amazing, but I don't have anyone I can invite that would allow me to always have a good time. And that's more available in a circle like Elden Ring, where you're fighting an NPC at all times. You know, hopefully that some sort of matchmaking, because you're not required that additional aspect of human beings on and around you.
No, that's fair. I've seen a lot of like guest meme posting, which is just like single player games hit different, you know. And I agree with that. And I don't think about them as much these days because I I spend most of my time in multiplayer games. But that doesn't mean I don't still love a solid single player experience. So there's a lot of that going around.
Yeah, it's a dumbass term, absolutely. But also at the same time, it when I heard that for the first time, I was like, huh, why do all these companies want me to have friends so bad? Are you trying to sell 2 copies? What the hell's going on? Why do you keep making things for friends? I know, exactly. But
they're successful.
But also, like single player games are cool too.
They are, and they make them. They're not going away. However, there are examples where it does feel like we're getting one instead of the other, and Bungie is a massive hot button topic issue example of that right now.
Right.
I mean, Destiny's been a pseudo multiplayer, an opt-in multiplayer experience, except for the open world sections, but you understand what I mean. Like you can play Destiny quote unquote single player. There's other players out in the world, like the way you can play an MMO single player. And then where it comes out, the next game is like a multiplayer only style game. If you were, hoping for them to get back to their Halo days of making, very compelling. Halo is probably more famous for multiplayer. Not to me. I liked the campaign and I liked the lore. That was the main reason I showed up to Halo.
Well, that's where where I make the divide is I want the single player game to teach me your co-op, and that was something I held against Overwatch and others like it because I had no foot in the door to even learn this, so I would have to have it felt like the graduating job experience. You must have 4 years experience to play Overwatch. Where do I get 4 years experience? I don't know. Guess you should have been playing the right games growing up to enjoy this one.
Yeah. But I'm like, I don't know. I'm also of the mind that you kind of need, I think you kind of need to opt into a certain level of getting shit if you're going to play a game like that.
And yeah, and that's something that I think is, I'm just having this memory. There's this new game that came out on the Apple Arcade called what's it called? Crash Junction or something like that. It's made it's made by the Golf people. At any rate, it's like they're like Mario Kart mini games essentially, and you play mini games versus someone on the other side. And they have a well played button in there, much like old Hearthstone.
I mean, let me tell you, I've been made very aware of the fact that MTG Arena has a well played button.
And so I'm taking turns with my 5-year-old, and I'm racing the little car in one level, and I'm balancing on the beam and trying to beat the other person. And what the clash is what's called. And so I'm doing all these mini games, and my 5-year-old keeps leaning over and hitting the well played. And I'm like, dude. And all of a sudden, the other person starts playing way better and more aggressively, and like being on my shit. And I'm like, dude, we it's cool to not spam that button. People can perceive that as rude. And this poor person, whoever they were on the other side, whoever they might have been, because it's a 3-match series, would face a 5-year-old who would say nothing, and then face a full-blown adult skills while spamming well played the next level, and then go back to playing a completely silent 5-year-old. They must have been so freaking tilted.
They probably thought you were the biggest asshole.
Like, what's the skill variance in this person I've been matched with? And why do they suddenly become godlike and a giant troll?
Oh, God, it's amazing. Also, you should be banned for violating the no account sharing EULA.
How dare you?
What the clash?
Those times you say I shouldn't be mad, it might be a kid on the other side. There's an example.
There it is. There it is. Yeah.
It could just be a child.
So you never know what you're facing on the other side.
God dang, that is hilarious. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Pins and Neils, are you still around? I need an explanation. Why did you bring this up? Why did you bring up
what was it?
ABBA as sung by Iron Mouse? And then you explained to me who Iron Mouse was, like I don't know who Iron Mouse is. I don't know why you brought this up.
I think it's because you like Iron Mouse, but they sang like ABBA recently. So
did they?
I think they're asking for you to justify your ABBA hate in the face of someone that you like singing them.
Why would you prod me to potentially talk smack about someone I have previously stated that I like? I just don't care for ABBA. It's okay if someone I like sings ABBA.
It's like this friend I have, and every time D&D has news, he's like, "Hey, Kyle, what do you think of them having AI-generated DMs?" I'm like, "Why do you only message me about things that would piss me off? Why? What am I, like..."
That is such a mood, dude.
Why inform me? You already know what my take is going to be.
Your friends should start a YouTube channel. They'd be really good at rage bait.
Maybe.
Probably make a lot of money.
There you go. Pins and Needles said messing with you, of course. There you go.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Oh, Lord Almighty. Yeah. I disagree with pretty much everything Kyle likes. He's one of my favorite people on the planet Earth. Like, it's great. Absolutely great. Have you finished Dan to Dan, Kyle?
Yeah.
Okay.
I stopped reading it because it was too good. And
okay.
Kind of like Jujutsu Kaisen has really long fight scenes, but because they're not in motion, I start to get kind of lost as to who's hitting who in manga. and I just kind of go, you know what? I'm gonna let the cartoon iron this out for me. You guys will animate someday. I'll figure it out then.
We spent like a good 40 minutes just aimlessly perusing the manga at a Books A Million that was at the Daytona Mall.
Oh, cool.
Because the hotel had booted us out already because checkout was 11, and we didn't want to be at the concert until after 2 because of the heat.
Oh, sure, yeah. So farting around, classic farting around.
So we walked over to the Daytona Mall to kill some time, and holy shit, man, I haven't been in a bookstore in a minute.
Which one?
So much manga.
What store were you in? Books A Million?
Books A Million.
Oh, they still have those in Florida. Nice.
Yeah. The one I used to every Saturday as a kid go to the Pokemon League, like the TCG meetup, is still there in my hometown of Venice, Florida. Like it's freestanding Books A Million, doing fine. But yeah, like I haven't been in a bookstore so damn long. I'm just like, there's just so much freaking manga. Oh god, I almost did it. How my mom? That's how my mom pronounced it.
Oh, manga. Yeah.
Manga. Manga. Yeah, they still have books in. Oh, for fuck's sake, Jeffrey! Why do you only say things that would make me mad,
dude? I went into a Barnes and Noble for the first time in like 5 years, and I was so disappointed. It's just a gift store. They have bestsellers, and outside of that, they are not a bookstore anymore.
Books A Million it was huge.
Man. Oh, if it's called Books A Million, I hope so.
Ton of books. It was. I mean, they still had gifts and stuff, but they had exactly the staggering amount of books and like sections as I remember.
Fourth of Barnes and Noble is Legos now, and I'm just like, I know the Barnes and Noble name doesn't have anything to do with books. You can reinvent yourself. It's fine, but I was disappointed.
It's your dad excuse. It's just like, I get it. Because you know what? They're still around, and most book franchises are not.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
What you gonna do? But yeah, no, that Books A Million was great. Next time you're near one, you should go, because hopefully they're all that way. This one was a proper damn bookstore. Manga section was just a lot bigger than I remember. Is all. That was the only thing that seemed noteworthy to me. Then they had a cool journal section. They had a lot of like leather-bound journals that I was
those are fun. Yeah.
If I need to get Kyle a gift.
Oh, I do. Oh, yeah.
No warning.
Yeah. Solid choice. You're absolutely right. That's an easy.
Get Kyle a leather-bound journal.
That is an easy gift for sure.
Yeah.
It will be used.
Yeah. Dude, the paper inside was like heavily textured and uneven.
Uneven. Yes.
Uneven side paper. Yes, I knew you would appreciate this.
Absolutely.
I knew it. I knew you would appreciate this.
Just seeing that,
Uh,
I just think of that robot still hammering that one piece of papyrus in the middle of spaceship Earth, and I'm like, I want that paper in my book right now.
I saw that robot very recently.
Nice.
I'm going to see him this weekend. Evane, thanks for the additional supers here. A couple of back to back. Turns out technology based on learning can be taught to do ridiculous things. Yes,
It sure can.
Turns out,
Yeah.
can be a bit of a troll.
It seems we're kind of assholes on the internet, and
Yep.
maybe they deserve it sometimes too. I'm not shocked. It was just, there was something truly odd about yelling the F word so many times, and then when an official licensed source said it once, everyone in the room being like, oh my God, like what? It was the whole point of everything you were doing. Like, I'm just not good at this job. But my reaction in that situation would be like, there it is. And I'd move on very quick. I wouldn't be shocked because it was the entire goal in the first place.
I think if you're fast enough to it, and I think this is what proves we're old. I don't think we're bad at our job. I think we're just old. Because when we were kids, there were just straight up urban legends about fatalities that didn't exist in Mortal Kombat, and shit like that would run through the school like a wildfire. You'd go to the arcade on the weekend and you try to do it, and then it wouldn't work, and you learned it was bullshit. Or it did work, and you saw like was it? It could not possibly have been called bestiality. What was the beast murders in Mortal Kombat?
Well, oh.
Animality. I couldn't think of the word. Animality was the word I was definitely looking for.
But that would have been funny. Oh, but that would have been
faster
funny.
than my brain on that one. Oh man. You know, I'm not
Yes.
even going to finish my point.
Yeah, we all understand. We all know what we're talking. We all
know.
know what we're talking about. Yes.
I couldn't think of the word. Is that what Animorphs? No, that's not that dumbass book series.
Yeah.
God dang. The point I was trying to make, and it will no longer be entertaining, is that you had time to be told these things and it to fester before you could actually go and test it to see if it worked or not. And then when, you saw the animality or the babality or those things that came in later Mortal Kombats, it blew your friggin' mind. And you probably made a shocked face. And, we don't play Fortnite, period, let alone every day. But if we, if every damn day of our life we were playing the same game and we had been through 3 Star Wars events already.
I mean, what up the ante? Yeah.
And you, it's just another streaming day, working towards unlocking my Palpatine skin because I got enough V-Bucks. Everyone in chat starts going, yo, you should talk to Vader. You can get him to cuss if you cuss out Vader. You just be like, no way. You're full of shit, chat. And you go over to Vader and you go, fuck, fuckity fuck. And he goes, fuck. You'd be like, holy shit,
Yeah.
wow, you weren't lying to me.
And I would run home. I would run home to try it myself. It's true.
Yeah. Garrett slandering Animorphs. That was me trying to bait Kyle and he didn't take it. I did think Animorphs were kind of lame, but
no, Animorphs is like one of the least. They made detailed descriptions of how hideous their outfits were at all times. Like there was I had no crushes on anyone, and we're talking like I was reading in like 6th grade still. Like I was in height of Crush Town, and I was just like, Tobias's life sucks, and that's what I took away from Animorphs.
Yeah,
I'm not
it
even
was
sure
not my
romance.
jam. But I just kind of moved on. I didn't really.
I loved it. It got it freaking unhinged. I mean, that's Another, oh, did you know a child, like a property is actually like really damn serious about war and stuff? But
around the time that was blowing up, I had discovered Dragon Ball Z,
mm,
and it was just over. I never read another Goosebumps. Animorphs seemed extremely pedestrian, and I was off to Manga Town reading Dragon Ball Z, right to left, and getting made fun of at school. So, but I learned how to draw blood real well.
there you
those,
go.
Those comics were not censored, so it was sick and awesome and totally rad. Avena also supered. I haven't played MTG since I was a kid. What I really want is art prints of these cards. That happens sometimes. Sometimes the artists, are allowed to. I would assume it's probably a lot more. There's a lot more hoops to jump through when it's a crossover like this.
Yeah, I own.
You're dealing with like two rights holders between Wizards and Square Enix.
Yeah, because I own D&D art on my walls, but it's all second edition and forward back before that stuff existed. They'll probably put out a book of it at some time. I have a book of Ravnica and Innistrad. I love some Magic the Gathering art.
And you would never scan in artwork from an art book at an extremely high resolution, color corrected to the best of your ability, and then get an archival print at a larger scale to hang in your own private home.
Well, that's
no one
why
would ever do that.
You hope when you buy something, they do a really good print. And in particular, it's really cute. Like this one over here that I have, which you probably saw in that preview video I did last week. That one was adorable to order, apparently, because when Kristen messaged the artist and was like, hey, we'd like a print, it was his wife who answered, and she handled all the emails and stuff personally.
Oh, that's sick.
So like getting that, it was just like a family operation.
That's freaking adorable.
Yeah.
I love that. Huh. Suplex on a t-shirt. Yeah. And then you make it ethically moral by buying something else from that artist's store.
There you go. Yeah. Like like a stand-in, basically.
Yeah. Legally gray, ethically moral. The rules of the internet. Fingleberries, thanks for 25 months. Going back to previous conversation, you can tell the card makers are fans because they even have FF2 memes. They commune with Beavers card is incredible. I'll be the judge on that when I finally play FF2. You do mean FF2 and not FF4, I believe, right? What? Wasn't that funny of a joke?
No, it just, you said it in such an organic and fun way, but it could have been like a big mansplain moment, and I enjoyed that.
Did you see the mansplain flowchart going around?
No, what's that?
I saw it for a hot second. And I don't think it went like hyper viral, but it made me laugh. Like the first question was, is the person you're talking to more qualified than you? Yes or no? And then the flowchart began.
Oh wow, there's a couple of these.
Oh, is there? Maybe
there's quite a few of these.
I got a good kick out of it.
The top option is, did they ask you to explain it? Yes.
Oh,
not
yes.
mansplaining.
I think that's the one I saw. Yes. It's
Checks out.
It's wonderful.
Checks out.
It's wonderful. Oh, Pins and Needles, thank you for using your membership chat to say messing with you, of course. Damn. This is a fun chat. It was about not always particularly fun things, but it was a fun chat. I had no idea. Like we came in pretty hot on the marathon thing, and I was like, wonder what Kyle thinks about this. I have a feeling he's just kind of generally tired. It's not exactly a fun topic.
Yeah, I mean, like I had to. It was more just the language being used that just instantly drove me up a wall, man. I saw that Friday while it was happening, and
I will 100% admit burnout with the content creation rat race. Maybe burnout's the wrong word. I'm a little disenfranchised with particularly video game news coverage right now. And yeah, I don't know. I won't leave you all with a big existential thing, but I'm just like, am I just like old fashioned? Like I like it's why I like Nextlander and Giant Bomb. Like all these dudes have backgrounds in traditional journalism, have all held jobs as business card video game journalists. And while that's not the end all be all, I it means I trust them in most cases, unless they're covering breaking news off the cuff that they haven't had time to read about before the podcast recording. I trust them to do the research and have sources, and try and tackle it from all the angles. And I think it's also why I like multi creator content versus single creator content for the most part. We were talking about Ammunition and Day 9, so clearly I have solo creators that I do enjoy, but for the most part, I am heavily drawn to collaborative efforts because you tend to get multiple viewpoints, and I don't know, like there's a part of me right now that's like feels like that's a rare thing, and it bums me out. It just seems like the stuff that's really succeeding is sensationalist solo creators. And I'm stoked for our success, but there's times where I fail at the don't compare yourself to others, and there was most of my life I failed by comparing myself to people that I looked up to, and now I compare myself to people that I don't want to be anywhere near, and I go, why is this just across the board? It seems to be the fast track to success on the big platforms, and it's a bummer thought, so I didn't want to get into it, but here I am, I guess. I'm struggling with it right now. I've always struggled with it, but I'm really having a tough time with it right now. I guess it's because I feel like our hobby's under attack. The tariffs are driving up costs, and it's like, yeah, I can still like technically afford this stuff, but it sucks. And I remember how hard it was for me to stay engaged in this hobby when I was just starting out as a quote unquote adult in my early 20s, moving out of home and having my own bills. And yeah, I don't know, man. Like after Split Fiction, it did something to me. It made me really give a shit about games in a way I haven't, like, since Shadowbringers kind of shocked me into like, oh my God, I didn't think I would care this much about a video game again. Coming out of that absolute raging World of Warcraft crash out that was Shadowlands. Like, and then Shadowbringers happened, and Endwalker was really freaking good and an absolute life-changing experience. I personally prefer Shadowbringers to Endwalker, but they're both amazing. I'm splitting hairs here to try and get through this thought succinctly. But man, I left Split Fiction last week being like, holy shit, like there's still people out there making things that can just kind of bring me to my knees with how impressive it is and how much it can make me believe in games as a medium. And then seeing a story that I do think is important about stolen art being used to just push views and outrage as opposed to having a mature conversation. It just, I was in my head a lot the last 24 hours, man, about the state of content creation around games.
Sometimes it's more powerful to take inspiration from what you don't want to be than wanting to be someone else. And while I'm teasing about what we're working on in the background right now, there's been a lot of trials of that because so many of our peers, maybe not our friends, but our peers have pursued that kind of content creation. It doesn't make us happy.
No, it really doesn't.
So
yeah, I like talking about things that are controversial, but I like trying to make them not controversial. I try to look at it from a different angle. I try to dissect it
Well, in the Encanto kind of like family structure, that was my superpower growing up, was de-escalation. I had an extremely stressed house in terms of what emotions people were feeling at what level. So my job was always to jump in the middle and be like, whoa now, it can't possibly be that bad. Allow me to be funny and try to just de-escalate this. And that's what the marathon sort of news made me feel. I was like, oh my God, everything is so intense so suddenly. And these words being used are so big. I don't even know if I want to talk about this. But then I had to do quite a bit of research past. That's not the first time that's happened in video game news, and figure out why it was a big deal. And in this case, it was actually a pretty damn big deal. It was tough to see past that sensationalism.
Yeah. It's where I get preachy, and you know, I just hate it when people get preachy. I hate being preached to.
Yeah.
Except when it's our buddy preach making content. You know, that's the preach I want in my feed. But like, yeah, it's pardon the preachiness of what I'm about to say. It's just like, I better see this same level of severity the next time you all are making, you know, gibbly filtered slop that was trained without any permission, artist. So yeah. It's also a whataboutism, which I also hate. So I'm a big old hypocrite today.
We all are sometimes, man.
Unpronounceable. Thank you for the generous super set. Haven't been a regular viewer since ITL, I'm assuming ITN, but tuning in is always like returning to an old hangout. I'm glad you two are still around, being your best self. That means the world to me. Unpronounceable.
Thank you.
Yeah, we both have friends in our lives that are like that. You know, it's I call it press play hangouts. It's just like the last time you saw them, you both hit the pause button on your friendship. When you get back together, you hit play, and it's just like, it's like nothing changed except maybe your hairline and your hair color. Like it's yeah. I really appreciate that kind of thing, and I appreciate you informing us of it, because that kind of shit is important to me. It's good that someone else is getting a wide view of where we are, because you and I are so close to it. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know, have we lost the plot, Kyle? Are we two up our own butts?
Sometimes. But thank you all for the support. Thank you all for watching. We're going to be back tomorrow and Wednesday and every day this week. Actually, it's kind of a packed week.
We are streaming, because we're still on project finish some things. So we're doing Space Marine 2, and we're gonna finally tackle the Final Fantasy 14 crossover in Monster Hunter at the end of the week, on top of streaming Final Fantasy this week, or Final Fantasy 14 itself.
Yeah.
This week. And we've been trying to figure out when to get our semi setup together. And it's looking like it's going to be Thursday for Savage. So
cool.
To our buddies that we run Savage fairly regularly with, sorry that we've been so indecisive, but we like kind of hit a hard wall last week, and we're like, crap. I'm not sure we can continue Savage being as carefree as we've been to this point. I think we might need a semi locked in group.
Yeah, it's the game they've made, and it's extremely intense. How tight those things have to be to create the kind of content they want, and I respect them for it over at the design team. But it was I look forward to future extremes and all that, where we all get to hang out and be a bit more community based when it comes to our invites.
Yeah, I'm just double checking. If you want to watch the last Savage stream, it is on the live stream playlist and the FF14 Savage raid playlist. It's in 2 playlists right now. It is not public because we've looked at our metrics, and typically second or additional Savage streams that are not clears perform very poorly and don't seem to be helping our channel at all. So they're available, not public, because that would be damaging to the almighty algorithm. So I'm stoked that you're excited to watch it, and it is available. It's just not going to show up in your recommended. Anywho,
Pins and needles.
Pins and needles. We will. We'll do our best. You know, every once in a while, I might stare into the Ark of the Covenant and describe what I'm seeing to you. But I promise to try and stay positive. What was the old Jeff Kanata phrase on Internet Access?
Stay positive, don't die.
Stay positive and don't die.
Thanks for watching, everybody.